Welcome, guys. Welcome to CloudyChiptv. It is your boy, Ro. Welcome to Agree to Disagree. And we're back, and we're here live in effect, and I'm here joined with my bro, Mad Gamer Inc. You can always catch him over at Twitter at Mad Gamer Inc. Also on Twitch as well. He also streams over at twitch.tv/Mad Gamer Inc. as well. You can go ahead and catch him there live in effect. And he's usually live. He's live usually all the time. So that's a great thing, right? Because that's what you want. And he got really good insight when it comes to a lot of things. If you guys don't know, one big thing about him is that he hosts Apex tournaments. And he's involved in the esports community, which is a great thing, right? Because it's always good to have people who have your back, especially with a game that you're very interested in. So talk to me, Mag. What's going on?
I am good. Today's Saturday. Been a lot of gaming news that I'm really excited for this week. Specifically, we're going to talk about it all from God of War, NBA 2K, some Apex. Right now, there's a tournament right this very minute. My heart is broken because I'm on the podcast. I'm like split between two worlds because I want to watch the actual tournament, but then I also love the show, and you've been doing a good job actually. Just to give him a quick breakdown, guys, this is our fourth episode. We basically just started this off, and Cloudy is the host who basically got to do some editing, make sure the graphics are good, make sure the audio is good, and doing a lot of back end work. Also, he's actually been putting up stuff on TikTok, YouTube. You can catch our podcast on Spotify, iTunes, all over. He's been working very hard to make sure you guys get everything you need. So this is a show that actually has a foundation already, and it's getting built properly by the rookie himself, Cloudy Chip.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. So one of the biggest gaming news, just to kind of get things rolling, is going to be Fall Guys. If you guys are not aware, Fall Guys is actually free to play as of this month. The great thing about it is that it's never mind that it's free to play, but it also just built up a really great community when the Battle Royale scene just reached over 50 million players, base players right now as we speak. Which is great, right? Because you always want to get involved in a game that has a really great player base. So I would just have to say congratulations to the guys over at Metatonic and Epic Games for, you never mind giving us this free-to-play game, but giving us a game that is, like I said, it's making headway and is very fun to play. It has way more than 64 players that can kind of get involved in this Battle Royale type of scene. And anywhere from like young children and kids all the way to grown folks, right? Being able to go and be competitive in this Battle Royale style type of game, right? So, like I said, it's very hype news to see a really good support when it comes to free to play, and it's to see it also done right? And we're gonna talk a little bit more later on today about things being done right or not, right? But I feel like this game has, came out of nowhere and it just took everyone by storm, and it's been doing really great things. So I can't say enough great things about this game as of yet. But that's the biggest news right now, is to see this thing basically come out 2 years ago, back in August 4th, 2020, and not even 2 years later to be one of the biggest Battle Royale games, and also be free to play.
It's awesome. I love it. I've been playing it a year before release. I was supporting it. I was meeting up with the developers at PAX East, E3. I don't think I met them at E3, but we hung out. I talked to them there, and the game's pretty awesome. I gotta say, it's so much fun. It's funny as hell because you're running around like a goof bean, and then you're actually very competitive as well. So it's a really challenging game. It's fun. It's a lot of great challenges. Obstacle course is something I love to do in real life. So yeah. Now for me, the biggest news, without a shadow of doubt, and I think Cloudy can agree as well.
Oh man,
is God of War Ragnarok official release date. And I just want to take a moment. We got to do a victory lap. I'm on Twitter a lot and I have the insider news and I post up a bunch of stuff before the news drops sometimes, well, a lot of times, and then make some predictions once in a while when I hear rumbling from developers, managers, or somebody in the inside. And I predicted early November release date right here on the show a couple weeks ago, and on Twitter months ago, and now it's here. November 9th, God of War will release in 2022. What's crazy is you got The
Oh
Last of
man.
Us, Sifu. You got a bunch of exclusive from PlayStation already great coming, like what's it called? Um wow, my brain's Horizon Forbidden West just released as well. So many great games that they have, and then they're giving us what might be game of the year. We got to talk about that later. I don't know if you want to argue that it will be or won't be, but I mean, we'll get into it later if you want to join in on the conversation on what game of the year is for you. Everybody has their own favorites, but this game is so big and it's so special. I just want to talk about a few things before we move on. They announced the release date, November 9th. They gave us the collector's edition, a full reveal, 7-minute trailer opening up every single piece of the collector's edition. You're going to get the hammer. You're going to get tons of stuff. You want to check the official trailer out and see for yourself exactly what that is. Hopefully, Cloudy's throwing up some actual content of it. But basically, the collector's edition, there's two versions. One is going to have a lot more goodies, and the first one will have the game, of course, a bunch of digital items, a 16-inch replica of the hammer, and so much more to look forward to. And I think that is spectacular for those who want to pick up the collector's edition. I've been thinking lately, like, I don't have enough collector editions for games I really love, and it's something that I haven't done enough of. But I've always have memorabilia from something that someone gives me or something like that. Like even this right here that I'm wearing. There's gifts that I treasure. So I think, this could be something special for somebody who does love God of War, wants to get somebody that as a good thoughtful gift. But yeah, so we'll talk more about God of War for the game of the year conversation later on in the show. I believe that's going to be one of our segments. Spoiler alert. And we'll see what you guys feel. I mean, there's no wrong answers here. Again, this is agree to disagree. Me and Cloudy don't always agree. We're co-hosts just because we're friends, we're family. He's my best friend, but we don't agree, and that's fine. I'm not going to fist fight him over some opinion about this, but we just want to entertain it a little bit later. So give your thoughts and opinions on what you feel. If you're watching this on if you're listening to this on Spotify, you can come over live on twitch.tv/CloudyChiptv, and you can see us on Saturdays at 1 p.m. so that you can be a part of the actual conversation. Or if you're on YouTube watching this later as well, you're welcome to just give us your thoughts, opinions. Make sure you show support because this is a lot of work going into this by Cloudy Chip and myself trying to give you the best we can of the latest news and discussions as we go forward. But yeah, that's the news for God of War for now until later on in the show. You can go a little deeper and see what happens.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for that, man. And I actually, like I said, we're like you said, spoiler alert, we're actually going to be covering more God of War as we get closer to the release date. It is one of my favorite series that PlayStation's ever put in. I put that up, and I love Metal Gear, but I put this above Metal Gear. And as far as
trying to start fist fights in here, man.
I say that because Metal Gear held a really good, really strong place in my heart at one point for a while, for a long time. But ever since, I've really gotten a chance to dive back into God of War, replayed a little bit of the old titles, kind of dived into the new one that came out in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. I was just blown away, and I just fell in love.
Talk about this on another episode. I'm gonna cut you off. Listen, agree to disagree right now because we gotta do a whole show for you right now for God of War. Listen, first of all, you disrespected me, man. We gotta have to put some gloves on and settle this like men. Because listen, the new God of War in 2018 was one of the greatest games ever.
Yeah,
the previous ones were good, but they didn't have heart and soul. They didn't have story of like really, really impactful stuff. It's Kratos screaming and being mad the whole time. So there's an argument of like all that series being fun to play, but not as impactful and deep messages or like emotional moments
Yeah.
or like extra stuff that you can really compare them to
Yeah.
each other, because Metal Gear offers all of it. The gameplay, the story, the deeper
No, I
messages,
agree. I
the
love Metal Gear.
emotional. So we got to have a debate about this in the future, you know, and I don't get it twisted. I'm a God of War fan. I think it's one of the greatest titles of 2018. I don't know what the new one's going to be. Hopefully it's close enough. If it's even a little bit of that, it's still better than everything else. You know, if it competes with 2018, it's better. And then you can argue, okay, they started a trilogy. Can it compete against Metal Gear? But it only has one game right now to try to give it
That stature. I get it. I get
yeah,
it. No,
we'll
like I
talk
said,
about it,
well,
though.
yeah, well, like I said, we have to talk about it. But like, you know,
We're just waiting for this.
yeah, you know, I just fell in love with the mythology behind the Greek mythology back in the old games, and that was what drove me to, because I love Greek mythology. Then to
Sure.
then to sit here and see what they've been able to do now with the new one.
Norse
Like I said,
mythology.
yeah, like I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, bro. I can't, like I said,
It's
I
gonna be amazing.
can't.
It's gonna be fun. We got to get into some
But
theories and conversations about that. Actually,
no,
I
no,
got a
facts.
lot
And
of stuff.
you know what's crazy? It is, and I'm glad that we're talking about this in a small snippet right now, just for anybody watching right now, because it's good. You know, me and Mac have really strong feelings on either side, and you guys are gonna be able to tune in on that. And and then you guys catch me on Twitter, so I'll go ahead and announce when we're actually gonna be going head to head on just this conversation regarding God of War, and then we'll get into a little bit about God of War and Metal Gear and whether or not it holds up to that series as a whole. And like I said, and I love Metal Gear series, but I have to defend what I feel to me
Bro.
is one of those games that it just transcends in so many ways. I just love what it brings. And
All right. I can't disagree with you. But all right, so I was on Twitter with Cory Barlog, who happens to be the God of War creator, and he's made 2018. He made this new one, and then he's made the ones in the past since part 2. This guy interacted with me. We were talking about another friend of mine's, Jordan, who is the director of uh, Kong Skull Island, and he's done other movies and stuff like that. And he was at E3, and I'm tweeting to Cory Barlog, and you can look this up on Twitter, Mad Gamer INC, and then just type in Cory Barlog and listen to our conversations. It's public. So I'm having this debate that we are having with him in a way, because when he made the 2018 game, he made it one camera still, and the debate me and him were having, which was that Metal Gear originated that, because when you play, it'll show a cutscene, but then it'll zoom out it all in one take, zoom out to the player, and then the player gets to move within the shot. So it was a one shot to get into the cutscene, and that's what God of War used for their game. So then I went back and forth. I posted up videos of like Metal Gear, like trying to prove evidence. And you know, Corey's like, Kojima's a little nonsense, and he kind of took shots at Kojima at that time because Kojima's pretty weird, and he does like corny stuff sometimes, funny humor and sexual humor, like butts. All the guys' butts are showing in every game, and they'll pee on themselves, and like another guy craps himself, and it's just like Corey took a shot at that, and hey, I respect him, and I understand that, but it's a part of the fun of like Metal Gear is intense, and then you get the silly stuff to enjoy it and be like, yo, this game is so stupid right now. Like your intense moments, one of the most intense moments, and then you go into the humor, and that's what I love. Like I said, it's the conversation. We'll have it one day, but this is a long. You're making me stay here. We'll be here all day with this. God of War, the new one, 2018, can compete. The day that they drop 3 or 4 releases and they're that good, I could say, wow, this is like heavy hitted. But the previous ones, in my opinion, didn't have emotions. They didn't have messages. It was just like, I'm angry. I want to kill everybody. You know, he killed his own father. He killed his wife and kids.
Yeah.
The dude's a savage. Spoiler alert. Kratos ain't a good guy.
Well, we got we can solidify that November 9th, 2022, when God of War releases. And Yeah, that's the date to look out for that, because once anybody gets their hands on that magical gem of a game, they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, Cloudy was right." But
Even if it was half as good as the first one, it's going to be better than everything that's out there, basically. In my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, no, I agree. All right, so now to get into, we talked about on Fall Guys and how great they've done and the compliments they've had. Now to give you a little bit of some bad news, and this is some stuff that's been circulating the headways, and it has to do with Diablo Immortal. His CEO defending the fact that microtransactions in a game are basically okay. And Mike Ibarra gets interviewed by the LA Times and defends microtransactions, says that it's a free to play game, and also that 99.5% of the game is free. Defending it with that argument, stating that basically that it's okay the way the game is, the state of the game as it is right now. He's fine with it. He's okay with the way that the game is and launched and where it's at right now as a free to play with the microtransactions that are in there. Even when a YouTuber has come forward and demonstrated and exposed how bad the microtransactions are in Diablo Immortal, spending over $100,000 of his own money to go ahead and just to get a legendary piece or rare item in a game is unreal to me. It's blasphemy. It's something that shouldn't be allowed. And even if it's free to play, I understand that companies want to say, hey, we want to give something that's free to the community, but there's so many other ways to profit from a free to play game. And a company that's doing really well and that's done and it should be held as an example of what to do with free to play. I feel like Fall Guys is the prime example of that. They got a free to play game that got more than 50 million player base right now as it stands, hitting that milestone and being able to go ahead and show that, hey, we can give out a game for free, still supported over the years, because that game came out 2 years ago, and to be able to say, you know what, 2 years later, we're still supporting this game and we're going to give it to you guys for free, and we're going to do all this amazing stuff with it as well. It's amazing, right? And I feel like a lot of companies like Blizzard and his CEO need a wake-up call, and they actually need to go ahead and take some examples from some of these other companies and what they're doing and how they're doing it right, and implement it into what they got, right? So that's my little tip for the CEO if you're watching this, boy.
I actually want to chime in on this. It's your news or whatever, but that's crazy because here's the deal. Like a couple years ago, 5 years ago, I can remember playing, and I hate to put their name out there, but Star Wars Battlefront Part 2. I was just getting into the Star Wars world,
Yeah.
like 4 years in, 2, 3 years in. I started watching all the movies. I'm like, oh, it's a cool series. It's a nice little universe to enjoy, especially game wise. You can play, whatever style. So that game was coming out, and the controversy was the loot boxes, right? So the reason why loot boxes weren't okay and why it's something that's been dying down is because it was considered gambling, and they actually legally crushed a bunch of companies saying, stop trying to make kids gamble. That's illegal. So when I slot machine, when I go into press it and I hope something good comes out, that's an addiction that I'm getting. It's a gambling risk that I'm taking. So this is what was happening for a lot of games in the past, and they took advantage of it. And you think about it, right? I'm a parent. I taught my son to play video games, but there were times where I'm like, no, that's enough. And I had to restrict him in certain things because the psychological part of it was wrong. So instead of him wanting to enjoy a game, which I'm about to talk about next, 2K, he let me pay to level up. And it's like, no, this isn't the way life should be. You shouldn't have this mentality. You should work for what you got, work hard, and enjoy that process. Same thing with life, right? But in games, that's what the goal is, right? You get a new character, you're leveling them up, you're doing this, you're doing that. If you can pay for it all, then it takes away the fun of the journey. And then all of a sudden, one kid is maxed on day one, while the other kid is still low level. Then it changes the playing field and experience for players. You know, one of the
Yeah.
best parts about gaming is the first day of releases, nobody's maxed out. Everybody's even. We're fighting against each other. We're even. You know, then maybe
Hmm.
a month or two later, everybody's maxed out and we're all playing with the best gear, I have the best abilities, best combination, best build. And it's fun because then it's like, okay, I'm ready. I can do this. But with these free to play games, for example, a game we're going to talk about later, and it's an argument that we're going to have about the best battle royale. Um, you know, Apex has over 100 million. This is a precursor for you, Cloudy, because I don't think you got the answer, Sway. Uh, Apex got over 100 million players. Apex has over, what is it, 3 billion within the 3 years that it's released. $3 billion earned through microtransactions. It's a free to play game. So they're doing it right. You're not buying a weapon, you're not buying an upgrade, you're buying a
Yeah.
skin for a gun, a skin for a character, like an outfit, and you're buying a battle pass. Those are typical type of things that you can get in Apex that are respectable because it doesn't give anyone an advantage. That's my only issue with the CEO, and he's not wrong about microtransactions. It's a part of our society already, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the right balance is my issue. Is like, okay, you shouldn't be able to level your character up in any way. It should all be cosmetics or some type of battle pass or something that's outside of the actual gameplay experience. Because if a kid that doesn't have no money plays and someone that does have money has more advantages, then that's wrong. You know, for gaming, why in real life, hey, you got more advantages, go for it. Buy your yacht, buy a jet, buy whatever you want to buy, and do you enjoy it? You're not affecting me, you know. So that's my take on that. And you know, us gamers have a choice. Last week, Cloudy, or 2 weeks ago, we talked about the YouTuber who disrespectfully thought he was protesting, you know, ignorant, spending 15,000 whatever amount of money, and another guy
Yeah.
spending similar, and they're saying they're protesting because they deleted after. It's like, why would you spend that big amount of money? If it was $5, I understand you could break it, process it, but it's thousands of dollars, and then
Hmm.
acting like you're supporting the studio by doing that, and then you're gonna delete it, and then you give them more publicity to the point where we were talking about them last week. Now we're talking about them again. When my thing is,
Hmm.
and I tell all gamers, Apex players that I run events for, we're
Yeah. Yeah.
talking about a recent issue that happened a month ago where Xbox players couldn't play. And it was a big debate that's been going on. And I explained to them, said, hey, don't pay for anything in the game. They're gonna suffer. They're gonna listen to you. Trust me. They're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
listen. Once those millions of dollars ain't coming in, they're gonna be like, hold up, what are we doing wrong? Let's figure this out.
Yeah, and it's
And
sad to say that, and it's sad to say that too, because at the end of the day, you want to go ahead and support the game that you're actually very interested in, right? So it's like,
mhm, mhm.
you want to sit there, you want to be a supporter, you want to go ahead
Of
and and not only that, but it's like, it's like if you're into basketball games, I think I made this point last time was, right now the only basketball game on the market is NBA 2K. They're dominating that whole basketball market, and there's no NBA Live, there's no competition in that. So what happens is that they get to do what they want, right? And if they start being anti-consumer, then and you bought your console, or maybe that's the only game you kind of get into, and that's what you play, that's your primary enjoyment. All of a sudden, it becomes unenjoyable, and you have to kind of suck it. It's like the suck it pill. Here you go, and you have to
yeah.
kind of fall into that stigma of like, oh, I have to spend all this money on microtransactions just to enjoy the game at the way I want to enjoy it. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think we're gonna talk about 2K in a little bit. Actually, that's my next point. Funny that you say that. We're about to get into a smooth rhythm right now. So NBA 2K23. We'll talk about all this microtransaction stuff in this game also right now in a minute, but I want to talk about some news. We're gonna stick with that. So NBA 2K23 coming out soon. This game right here, my thing with this game, first and foremost, every year, they come out every year. It's a typical standard game or whatever. But
Yeah.
something special is happening here that I actually really like. And we're going to talk about microtransaction and all that in a minute about this game. But I play 2K every single year. So the fact that I'm getting something that I actually want, that I'm excited for, that I'm like, okay, this is cool. I like it. I like it. I'll take it. That's all I got to say. But basically, NBA 2K23's reveal has Devin Booker as the current player cover, the main game. Then there's going to be the WNBA, which has the two amazing legends that I actually, one of them I watch her play live tons of times. Diana. She's literally, one of the greatest ever. I feel like she's a dinosaur. That's what we nicknamed her years ago. And just because she's been around for like 20 years, and then Sue Bird, another player for the WNBA. But the main attraction and the reason I'm bringing this up is because the collector's edition, let's just say, it's called Champions Edition, and it has Michael Jordan, the greatest NBA player in my opinion, right there. But they have a 12-month subscription to NBA League Pass. And this is big for me because I watch a lot of games and I just have the games. And one thing's about League Pass, and again, this isn't a paid advertisement. This is all me just speaking as somebody who experienced it. I watched it on my phone years ago when I was work security for a little while. And I would just watch it on my phone. Then you could throw it on your laptop. Like I'm sitting here with you guys, but I need to go cook, throw it on my laptop, put it over there, or I put it on my phone. And you could just have it anywhere. And it's so cool because there's different camera angles. You can watch different things, watch a specific player. There's a lot of cool things with the League Pass. And you're going to get all that with the bundle pass for the Champions Edition. It's going to cost a lot of money. And Cloudy, we're going to talk about this, I believe, later, right?
Yeah, later. Yeah, later today we're gonna talk about it a little bit deeper.
All right, but basically $150 for this thing, and it has tons of different things. And this is where the whole microtransaction conversation comes back into play. Where 2K for me, I play it all the time. So like I'll just jump on for 2 hours, right? And I'll just play a random game online against another player, or I'll jump into my career where it is microtransaction focused, where you have to pay to basically upgrade your character. Even if you don't want to spend the money, you most likely will have to get the right amount of VC, unless you want to spend hundreds of hours trying to get VC. So it's a little trick that the companies do, is like you either spend 10,000 hours or you pay for it. It's like, damn, bro, can I just enjoy it and not have to spend that amount of time? You want to progress. I don't mind grinding. It's just a tough one. And then, of course, the My Team, which is another microtransaction focused game where if I go into a match against another player, I will get smashed because he's bought all of the characters, or all of the 99 overalls, and I'm sitting here with a 72 overall player because I didn't spend no money on it. So those are modes that are a little harder to deal with. If you just want to jump in and just play offline or play one of the head-to-head modes, that's a little more easier to deal with in that game. And I think they should go free to play with those features. I think out of respect for the community, say, hey, here. And then make people pay for the My Career and the My Team, upgrading, all that stuff. But that's just an opinion. We'll talk about that later. But that's the news for NBA 2K. It's coming out soon, and you can enjoy it as well. Personally, I'm definitely gonna. I have like a addiction to basketball, so I will be playing it. It's pretty much gonna happen. It's just how I am, who I am, part of me, basketball. So that's a different conversation, but we'll get into that a little later. What else you got for me, Cloudy?
So right now, the last big news of the day is going to be, at least for me, it's going to be GTA. So GTA 6 has announced that they're going full on board with full hands on GTA 6 and their release. It seems like the GTA Remaster Collection that came out sometime last year did not do so well. It was received very poorly by the community, and there was a lot of backlash. And right now, it seemed like they had two more remasters in the making. One of them being GTA 4, and another one also being Red Dead Redemption. Right? It seems like they ended up taking those two games, putting them on the back burner and saying we're going to take all those developers, all those people who are focusing on those games, we're going to refocus and shift all that focus onto GTA 6, which is great, right? Because it's been, I think it's back in PlayStation 3 days, they had GTA 5, then they kind of kept editing and updating and giving you all these extra updates as time went on, giving you an online mode, graphically keep improving the graphics over time, and they just keep re-releasing the same game over and over all throughout the whole PlayStation 4 ninth generation, right? Or 8th generation of consoles. All of a sudden, like, so all of PlayStation 4, we didn't get it, nobody got a GTA. And now we're almost 10 years in, and now there's just some discussions about them releasing a GTA 6. And the great thing about this news is that it could appear that they might end up coming out a lot sooner due to the fact they're able to put a lot more resources into GTA 6. GTA being so massive, such a massive game, and being so accepted by the community, is no doubt in my mind that this next GTA 6 will be a sure hit with the community and with fans across the globe, right? This game has always done very well for itself for some time. And for them to be able to have a new GTA 6, which everybody has been wanting, everybody who has been expecting for some time now, for them to actually showcase actual gameplay and to talk about a little bit more what their plans are moving forward and to be transparent in that way is awesome, right? And Rockstar is a really great studio. And I feel like they're always done very well when it comes to titles. They always put a lot of great focus. They always try to put a really nice polish onto the things they do release. And they always give that extra care to the things that they that they have their hands on, which is always great to see. So to see that they're actually going to be having more people focus on that, on GTA, I'm actually excited about it. Like I said, it's been some time since people have gotten that, and I won't. I would definitely be putting my hands on it and just trying it out and seeing what they have to offer, and and especially now with the with the new generation of consoles, is graphic wise it's very well, right? It's really good, but not only that, but I think the biggest thing is going to be power of the consoles, right? Less loading screens and being able to offer crossplay and being able to offer a lot more to people that are fans of the series is what I'm most excited about. It's not just the graphics to me. It's more about gameplay. It's more about the power, being less loading screens. I'm so glad that we're in this new day and age where things are just a lot faster and just like they're there, right? So you turn it on, you're on, everything just kind of works, right? And like I said, I'm just really excited. I'm happy about this.
Everything works unlike a Mac. Yes, I agree. I agree. Hey, man. One last bit of news. I'm gonna drop a couple right in a row here, just to close off my news and things that I'm interested in for this week. So, Ubisoft is having a conference in September. Finally, a real full conference here with a bunch of different games. So, I'm excited for it. I needed it. I've been wanting it. I've been hoping, and it's a little late in the year, which is odd because that usually is going to mean that the games are going to release probably next year instead of them releasing right away. I don't know, September, October, November, December, unless they're going to do some surprise games at the end of the year, which I think they might. It's going to be X Defiant. I don't know if you remember that title, Cloudy. Remember when we played that?
Yeah, I loved it. Actually, I had a really good time with that game.
So they're probably going to announce that. They just announced this game that you're watching on screen, which is the Division mobile version. And now this is pretty cool. Resurgence. It's an open world game. It's actually really well done. I'm not a mobile guy as much, but I was actually impressed with what they offering here. It's going to be a new open world. It's going to have its own storyline. It's going to have a whole different experience than what guys like me who plays the Division officially. We're going to get that the classic modes that we know are also going to be in there as well. So you can expect that. So for PvP, some PvE content. I'm just curious, like for mobile, how will that experience? I actually want to buy the thing again. I had one where you can put your phone onto your controller and just hold it as a mount and play the video games like that. And that to me could be really interesting. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not heavy mobile type of guy, but I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm interested specifically for the September conference that they will be having. That's going to be exciting. And now, for the other piece of news that I want to get into quickly here is I'm sorry, still stuck on God of War, is actually Hitman 3, which is one of the greatest games that I've played recently. This game is so special. If you play through the story, first of all, the way it ends is one of the best things in Hitman history. Literally, I would jump for joy and I got excited. I was like, this is crazy. They really did what I thought they would do. And they did something insane that I don't even want to talk about. But we're going to talk about their roadmap going forward for the future and the content that they're going to be putting out. It's really nice that this game continues to get cool stuff. Cloudy probably doesn't even know about this type of stuff, but they have this thing called elusive targets where you can play within a map area and there's a specific target you got to get. You got to kill them a certain way, and they only show up for a certain amount of time. There's other game modes that they released as well. There's new game modes coming out, but the biggest news was a brand new location. Hitman is a sandbox game where you jump into a map and you can do all types of wild stuff to try to assassinate your targets. And this new map is interesting to see, when it does drop and when it comes out. So this is going to be something that I'm personally going to play on July 26th. The new map will release, and a bunch of different targets that are coming out as well. So actually, yesterday, one of the elusive targets called the Revolutionary came out. He's kind of like, looks like a Cuban military veteran, but it's pretty sick to see this game continue to build and grow. And there's some modes, PvP. Me and Cloudy, if you remember, Cloudy, we were battling Hitman. So we got to get back in there at some point when they drop some of these new modes. We can go at it.
Not for sure, dude. And like I said, it's Hitman is always a fun game to get into. Like I put out a couple videos on my YouTube channel regarding Hitman, but I had a really good time with them, man. It was fun. And it's like one of those games you just, they made it so that you can kind of get in and get out. So you can kind of get in, play the sandbox real quick, have a good time with that, and then turn it off, go about your day, and then come back to it and play the sandbox a different way. But they have so many great stages and like worlds and stuff that you can get into, and the way that the enemies and the AI is it's almost like a puzzle game, but in like real time. I love it. I think it's really interesting. So many different ways to kill them too. Like it's like so many ways to like go in and say, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take them out this way, or we're gonna instead of doing it this way, we're gonna poison their food, or we're gonna we're gonna do it. So there's like so many different ways to do it. It's like it's unreal, and it's so creative the way that they're being able to handle that, right? And another thing too, when you was talking about the Division, I was amazed about when I first saw that trailer and I took a glance at it, I actually thought it was an actual new update or new game for like the Division. I was like, oh my God, I was, wow, this looks really good. But then when I saw it was mobile, I'm like, wow, that's on a mobile? Like, yeah. I would have never thought that, at one point, you remember the phones back in the days, it wasn't that long ago where
it was long ago. You're just old.
It wasn't that long. It was like, that long ago that that phones at one point couldn't even run video or gaming in that way, and all of a sudden now we got like really
4K
big,
graphics.
yeah, like 4K graphics, like really big things happening with mobile, and mobile is one of those markets that are slowly starting to big developers are starting to tap into because the market
Yep.
is there, right? Because and
Market
I
is
think
huge.
and I think a lot of it has to do with the stigma, and I think the stigma has come down a bit. But the stigma that gaming is for nerds, and it's like, oh, you get caught out in the world with a Switch, they look at you crazy, like, yo, look at this grown man playing a Switch
Uh,
and waiting for his appointment, right? And then so what people would do is they hide away in a little box in a shell and say, "Oh my God, I'll play. I'd rather play the game on my phone because it looks like I'm doing something very interesting on my phone, but I'm playing some Call of Duty or I'm playing, now this new Division that's coming out, right?" And like I said, I feel like that stigma is becoming more normalized, and I feel like it's starting to be more widely accepted. But at one point, it wasn't, right? At one
Yeah,
point,
I
people looked
agree.
at you
I mean, I'm the
crazy.
flyest, I'm the coolest, I'm the greatest, I'm the beautifulest, sexiest man in the world, but I play video games. So, I mean, I broke the stigma. You know what I'm saying? You can't be this pretty and play video games and not break the stigma that
Yeah,
exists
yeah,
in society, you
yeah.
know?
But now
So,
it's like
no, but
it is becoming very and very like gender diverse as well, right? Because at one point we as men, right, we felt like, oh, there's we didn't run into a lot of females or like women who get into gaming. But now if you get online and you start searching and doing your thing, you start realizing like, wow, that's a big community of women who
yeah,
actually enjoy gaming and actually are doing very well for themselves revolving gaming, right? I think
yeah.
Pokimane is like one of like the top, if not the top streamer right now on Twitch, and she's doing very well for herself, and there's so many more. But it's like it's great to see that becoming a gender
The norm, yeah.
diverse and becoming so normalized. I love it, and I'm excited about it because it's like now we get to actually like feel good about what we do, right? And what we enjoy. And like I said, that's a conversation all for another day. But I just
I was
felt like
actually That's a good topic. I was talking to this female. It's a little weird, right? I'm single. We talking and what you gonna do? What you doing for work? We haven't talked in a long time. What you this? What you that? No, no, no. I'm explaining it to her like she's a dummy, because I'm like, she don't know anything about this. She's stupid, and that's wrong because I think she's awesome. But in my head, I'm like, she doesn't know, not everybody knows about this. So I'm explaining to her like, you ever heard of esports? You know sports, right? You know basketball, NBA, and NFL. Well, I do that, but for video games. And I'm like, and I'm listening to myself. I'm like, bro, you're disrespectful right now. And she's like, I know what you're talking about. And I'm like, all right, my bad.
Oh man.
But it happens. Like even me, I'm on the opposite side, so I'm looking at them like uneducated, uninformed, blah blah blah. But people definitely have learned and grown, and it's a part of society now. So it's a good thing. It's why we do this, right? We're loving it. And Cloudy, for everybody listening on Spotify or iTunes, show him support. He's just getting started with this show. This is his first ever podcast. It's a good one. And then on top of that, he's editing nonstop for TikTok, YouTube, and a bunch of different places. So it's not an easy thing to get going. And then on top of it,
Yeah.
you know, competing against these big, gigantic names and you
Yeah.
know it's a lot. So, props to you for getting started. And like I said, it's a fun journey once you get deeper into it. And honestly,
Hmm.
for anybody listening, my recommendation on anything is to learn to enjoy the process. Right?
Yeah.
One thing Kobe Bryant said was the dream, and I'm not quoting him properly here, but he was talking about his career and stuff. He's like, the dream isn't that I won a championship. The dream is the hard work, the practices, the the nonstop obsession training and different things like that. That is the dream,
Yeah.
and that is where the fulfillment comes from. And it's true, but you can't know that until you actually start doing the work and you start feeling it and flowing. So for everybody, I encourage you to just keep breaking it down. For example, going to the gym, you might think it sucks, but it's actually the best part. I love going to the gym. Might not know it because I'm a little bit fluffy here, but I love going to the gym. I get excited. It's an exciting thing. Cloudy used to hate. We used to talk bad about me, like wanting to do cardio and like, doing jumping jacks and weird stuff. And he's like, I'd rather lift weights, and that's a good mentality. But for me, the point of the gym is to enjoy it and to challenge myself in a different way and to kind
Yeah.
of grow. And it wasn't about like, oh, I want to be buff or a bodybuilder or something crazy.
Yeah.
It's more just like that's my challenge and my growth,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll feel better for me. And while I'm in there, I'm in that mode, that challenge mode, and it's pretty fun and
Yeah.
exciting for me. And I
Mm-hmm.
think people need to have that mindset for work. That you get to go to work, even if your job sucks right now. You got a damn job. Okay, could be a lot worse. And if you don't have a job, get out there and grind. And same thing with everything else. So this gaming life and career, you know, the joy should be there first, and then the due diligence of the
Yeah.
work comes along with the journey. So
Yeah.
anyways, a quick side note, but that's my news for the week. There's some other cool stuff, like a Terminator. If you're from the 80s like me, a Terminator and a Robocop game, Cloudy. I don't know if you got to see
Is-
those. What are your thoughts on them? I'm very excited about one of them. I'll tell you why and what in a second here, but what are your thoughts originally when you seen these
So
trailers?
I haven't really seen the whole trailers. As in, I saw snippets. I saw stuff that was circulating in the Twitter universe. So I got to see bits and pieces, but not sit through the whole trailer. So the one that caught me off guard the most was RoboCop. I was like, are you kidding me? RoboCop? You know how long it's been since I've seen RoboCop? And I think, and you know what the crazy thing about it is that RoboCop actually was reintroduced in some way back in MK, I believe it was MK11, I believe it was. He was a DLC for Mortal Kombat. And since then, now all of a sudden we have a RoboCop actual game, and I think and it's crazy because this is what happens, right? You have games that sit there and they say, you know what, we're gonna put these famous characters in some of these games as DLC. We're gonna see how well it does, and when it's being very well received by a community and people love it and people are talking about it, people are making threads about it. All of a sudden, it becomes wanted, right? And then you get big developer studios that say, hey, this is a huge market we can tap into. Let's create something amazing for this because I think it's going to do very well. It's like, and mind you, RoboCop's been around since, the 80s? It's been, that's all,
1987.
yeah, it's like, it's very old, right? And all of a sudden it's getting reintroduced. And even like the Terminator, I think Terminator came out in the 90s. So, for the Terminator and RoboCop to still be relevant in today's day and age and being accepted, never mind by people my age, right? But you got kids, young kids, RoboCop and Terminator and all this stuff, right? I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome, right? To see that. And like I said, and I'm all for gaming. I'm all about, oh my God, yeah, keep showing me more, right? Because I want to see what else they can do, right? I want to see how well they can converse their like thoughts about what they feel a Terminator game should look like, especially today with the graphics, how well it allows them to present their vision and be able to do everything. Because before, back in the days, they were limited, right? They were limited because they didn't have the resources, they didn't have the power in the gaming to be able to do the things they envisioned in their head. So they had to find a lot of workarounds to make a game what it is. Nowadays, there's so much freedom because they're able to actually take what's in their head and thought and put it into something amazing like a game that's cinematically driven in a way that a Terminator will be or a RoboCop will be, and reintroduce that in such a way that maybe, who knows, right? What follows after this will probably be a movie, right? It could be possibly a movie that will follow this, and and I ain't mad at it. I think it's will be widely accepted by a lot of
Yeah.
fans and a lot of people. So I could kind of see that being the thing. So that's
I'm widely accepting this Terminator one specifically. The reason for it's an open world post-apocalypse game, and it's actually featuring the original story built around the events from the official movies. So you're basically getting this is something I love about Star Wars. You're gonna see a movie, a TV show, a game, and it all lore connecting together, official lore that works together. I think that's gonna be exciting. It's in between Judgment Day and the if you guys don't know who John Connor, he's the guy who started the revolution against the robots.
yeah.
And so in between those movies, between all that storyline, you're gonna play in an open world trying to survive against these machines. I think it's gonna be crazy. It could be a lot of fun. Of course, I don't know how good the game is. It's just a teaser that they put out, but hey, it's a start and it's interesting and intriguing. Something that could be done very well. So that's today's news, man. That's a lot of information. Once again, if you're watching this, feel free to show support over at twitch.tv for the live streams on YouTube as well. I'm sorry, Cloudy Chip TV. Bro, you got the TV in there. You got me all Cloudy Chip TV, both on Twitch and YouTube to
Yeah.
see these videos. But if you're listening, Spotify, iTunes, show support there. Follow us over there. Make sure that you are a part of this journey. We are just getting started with the show. There's going to be a lot of new changes coming up, a lot of great things. You can always hit me up and give me feedback on what you think needs work. Happy to tell Cloudy, what we can do to improve. We got some new segments that we're trying to add. We got some special guests coming. We can't say right now, but we'll talk about that soon. We got some special edition shows that we're going to be having. It's a lot of different things you can expect in the future at some point for the show. So look out for that.
Perfect. And like I said, man, I think for if you're talking about more excited, I would like I said, excited more for RoboCop, man. I don't know. I just feel like it's been at that game. I don't think it's gotten its fair share in a very long time. I think they did come out with a game years ago. I'm thinking like Nintendo days.
They did come out with one back in the day.
But the thing is that now we're talking about RoboCop, an actual game done very well, and it's coming out for the PlayStation 5 and Steam. So who knows? I honestly, I think that's a PlayStation exclusive as well, if I'm not mistaken, for what I just seen.
We'll see.
So yeah, so
I don't know, man. I don't know. We got to be careful. There's some publishers out there that say that it's exclusive and it's not.
No, but I honestly think, like I said, I was happy to see that because I was like, oh my god, I would love to see what they can do, like with this game when it comes to like being creative, right? And what RoboCop can actually do. And like I said, and I love the design of RoboCop, even back in the days when he had his movie, right? I love the design of what RoboCop how it looked. And it made me
RoboCop when you was little.
I think I had like a little gun or something, like a little plastic pistol or something. I think I had like little sound effects on it.
He definitely want to be RoboCop when he grows up.
But I was like, I love what they're doing, and I actually want to see more. I'm excited about this. Hopefully, it does come out and it does get released. Because there are times that we'll get an announcement and we won't see it or get delayed or won't get released at all. Prince of Persia remake is a perfect example of that, and we're still waiting. We're sitting on the green chair waiting for Prince of Persia remake to come out. So that's my take.
Yes. Yeah, but that's all the news for this week. But we do have a new segment. Well, our original traditional segment. And we got some heavy hitting punches that Cloudy wants to throw. He kind of already precursed. He warned me. Now I'm embraced for some shots being fired at my weight. Bro, let me sit up. We're going to get real. We're about to get real, man. You want to do this?
Oh, man. So we're actually gonna get into the next segment of the show. It's called Agree to Disagree. We're gonna go ahead and just fire off some shots, and then we'll go ahead and discuss them. So three big topics of the day are going to be God of War Ragnarok. Is it game of the year? So there's already discussions. This game hasn't even been released yet, but there's discussions
So
about
how are
it
we gonna
being
talk about this game of the year? We didn't come out yet.
game of the year. Do you agree or you disagree? Second topic is going to be NBA 2K23 Championship Edition. It costs $150, but it also comes with the League Pass as well for the year. Is it worth it, right? Do you guys agree or disagree? And also, last but not least, is going to be the Apex. Right now, there's a tournament going on for Apex for $2 million on the line. But the topic of conversation is going to be Apex Legends. Is it the greatest Battle Royale of all time? Is it? Right? And this is a great conversation to get into. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll start off with the first one. Let's start off with God of War Ragnarok, Game of the Year. Do you agree? So let's talk about it, Matt. What do you think?
Oh wow. Well, I was talking about it earlier. I think the 2018 is one of the greatest games of all time. I can't argue with that. We know that. I don't think anybody with a logical brain can disagree. Even if you never played it, I mean, it's that good. People will know. You got to humbly respect it. So, with that in mind, the fact that we haven't played Ragnarok, the reason this topic is coming up is because we have great games before it, right? So, the way you want to measure a game's, if it's game of the year, in my opinion, is what was in its competition. So, the two biggest titles are Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West. Those are the two biggest, most popular games that released this year, in my opinion. Now, I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I actually love Sifu, one of my favorite games this year as well. Those games are in the conversation, but they're so small, independent studios. They're not like giant games. So I can't even put them in the category.
Yeah.
Then you go and you put the two heavy hitters against each other, which we know and we played. I played over 300 hours of each already. Elden Ring versus Horizon Forbidden West. Elden Ring has had a big buzz because it was so difficult. It's funny. People are dying funny ways. You go on social media when the game releases and you see somebody get kicked off a cliff. You see all types of craziness, a dragon come and eat somebody alive, and all types of madness. That's what made it fun and funny to popularity wise. The thing with Elden Ring is the boss battles and those crazy moments are what makes it special. But Horizon Forbidden West is so well put together, like better than Elden Ring on so many levels. It's a little bit unfair to compare them because of that superior experience, whether it's the cinematics, the graphics, the landscape, the storytelling, the side quests, all of these elements are way above Elden Ring. And it's hard to try and compare them. If we just said boss battles, Elden Ring will easily uh, beat out Horizon because Horizon has amazing bosses, but it only has like 20 maybe or something like that compared to Elden Ring. In total, it's over 100, but 70 plus are unique bosses. So you're going to fight 70 different kinds of bosses in that game. And they're all really wacky and weird. Me and Cloudy, I'll let you speak in a second, but me and him played a bunch of bosses. He got to experience it a bit. I played endless amounts of hours of Elden Ring. I really love it. But the thing is, Horizon is just too good. And it's crazy because I do know people will say Elden Ring because of the charm it brings from all the boss battles and the difficulty. But Horizon is just as difficult. Once you turn up the level on to Horizon, you're going to see that it is harder than actual Elden Ring. Elden Ring can be played easily. You can level your character up easily and go through the game without much trouble, like I did for the most part. Um, so that's where I believe Horizon is top tier. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to compare God of War to Horizon Forbidden West. And we haven't played Ragnarok, but you have God of War 2018 to compare it to Horizon. And graphically, Horizon's a little above it right now. Gameplay wise, they're two different type of experiences. And God of War has been one of the greatest ever. And I believe Forbidden West is one of the best games ever too. But I would say, 2018 is just something with it for it. It impacted me in a special way because of the story, the father and son. And then I do think that Ragnarok will be better than the previous one. So, yes, I do think in the end of the day, my long winded answer is that Ragnarok will end up possibly surpassing, and I hope no bugs, no glitches, no broken mechanics, no you know, really bad decisions like a microtransaction to progress type of thing happens. This is all in theory right now. It's actually July 9th. So God of War Ragnarok hasn't released. So my opinion is strictly off of the previous game and the fact that these guys are going to turn it up. The new director is actually not Cory Barlog. Cory Barlog's the supervisor. He's actually above everything and just making sure it all goes proper. His vision comes out. But the director is actually gameplay focused. He's a hands-on director for gameplay. So I believe the gameplay is going to get an overhaul that's going to impress me, hopefully. And then, of course, the story, we already know where the story's going. No spoilers here, but from 2018, the father and the son, something happens with the mom. The whole journey's about that. But a lot of new things get revealed at the very end. And we're probably going to get that storyline about this, who the son really is, and these battles against these Norse gods, aka Odin and Thor. Will we fight Odin? I don't know. He's very powerful. That might be for part 3, but we definitely gonna have some Thor battles. I can guarantee that. There's no way this game exists without Thor and Kratos battling it out.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's
I
my
yeah, I think
gonna
that's
be
gonna be a thing.
yeah, that's my opinion in general. But we'll see how it goes. What is your thoughts, everybody? Drop it in the comments. So I agree that God of War can be, with all the things I said, ending up Game of the Year above the rest.
Yeah, and I honestly can't find it. I can and can disagree. So this is my take on it, right? And I love the God of War series. God of War series to me, like I said, is one of my favorites. And for me, it will probably be the game of the year for me. But if I had to, Sony's gonna be taking away a lot of awards this year. They're killing it this year with all the exclusive and all the content they were able to drop regarding gaming this year. And two of the biggest titles are surrounding Horizon and God of War, two big titles that I didn't think was possible for them to drop in the same year, or they would do. And it seems like they've done it. And my only thing is that I feel like that those two games they're really great single player games, but I feel like Elden Ring, with the amount, with the surprise that that it took on the community, and the way it was able to become this bigger than life game for some time when it first released. It was everything that everywhere you went on the web, it was trending for some time. I would have to say that it probably will be, if I had to choose, using my brain to kind of make this decision.
What else do you use besides your brain? All right, sorry.
I would think that Elden Ring will probably take it, and I feel like it will be for the simple fact of the surprise that it brought to a lot of people when they actually got their hands on the game. All the content that was able to come from it online, it trending, it for some time, being all that was talked about. And even when Horizon came out, I don't feel it built up that buzz that was up to that level as Elden Ring did, right? And Elden Ring kind of set a bar that Horizon did not touch as far as being talked about and the social presence it brought. So if I had to choose one, even if God of War does really well on release, and I would think that Elden Ring will probably take it. Will walk away with it, but it will be a close call, right? But think about it. There's a lot of different categories Game of the year, I will think that it will go to Elden Ring, and
Respect.
due to the fact of the how it was all that was talked about for some time online. That's everybody. That's what everybody spoke of, right? Um, but like I said, it's hard, and I'm in a hard place right now because like I said, I love God of War. I love this series. I love what they would be able to do. The way the community's been acting over the news surrounding the God of War, it's gonna do well. It's gonna do very well. I feel like it's gonna have a really great fan base. It already has a really great fan base, but I think it's gonna grow due to the fact that they just released not too long ago God of War 2018 edition on PC. So a lot more people have been able to get their hands on the game. And for this new game to be released and to be announced to be released this year, I could kind of see it kind of doing great. But what I feel is gonna happen is because of all the controversy surrounding the way it was talked about, surrounding the due date, the release, and all that last week regarding Santa Monica, and then right now with the release, there's still some people in the community talking about how they're upset about the release, which is crazy to me because you would think that that's what they wanted this whole time. It's like you can never make everyone happy, right? I think with all that stuff surrounding, kind of in the air, I think it's going to take away a little bit of its momentum for aiming for that Game of the Year throne. So I think some of that's going to affect it negatively when it comes to the awards, and I see Elden Ring kind of taking it. So if I had to guess, I would say Elden Ring will take Game of the Year. And it's crazy that we're having this conversation now. The game hasn't even been announced, hasn't even been released. I mean, it's been announced, but it hasn't even been released yet. Nobody's gotten a chance to play the new God of War, right? But we know from history how what to expect, and we know that we're expecting some great things to happen, right? So that's my take
Yeah,
on it in a
I feel
nutshell.
you. Let's go back and forth here for a second and do a little back and forth here. Rebuttals. You got your statement. I got my statement. All right. Now we disagree. You can throw that up and just be. We definitely disagree here. On for anybody just listening, we have a screen where we have agree to disagree, and it'll show my agreement or disagreement, and as well as Cloudy Chips TV's agreement or disagreement. And basically, we're totally disagreeing right now. And I think he's disrespectful. Like I feel mad right now. I'm mad. No, I'm just playing. But basically, like I can't fathom with my brain the way Cloudy saw. With my brain, I can't fathom the way that he even dares to say this, even though it is true to an extent. The internet was going crazy about Elden Ring, and the thing with Elden Ring is that they've done upgrades and fixed a lot of bugs and issues that was wrong with the game to begin with. They've been trying to get it better. So yes, one thing. The reason I'm bringing that up is because Horizon came out spotless. It was incredible. Then you're gonna have a God of War game. Hopefully, it's spotless and incredible too. And then what happens is these greater games will surpass in 5 years. It'll still be in top 10 most sold this month because it's still that good. And I think God of War
Yeah.
is going to do that, regardless of who wins the so-called Game of the Year. And you saw, for an example, when God of War 2018 released on PC, millions of people went and bought it. Dudes went on Twitter and said,
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm buying a PlayStation 5 for God of War Ragnarok because the part one was so good. I have to play part two." That's one thing. Secondly, yes, the internet's silly, but a lot of times if it's people who don't even play the games and that are like, you know, PC players complaining about games and talking trash. And the whole thing about God of War, it
Yeah.
hasn't done anything wrong. They released the right date for themselves. They're dropping this year like they said they would. You know, the game looks incredible from what we saw. We're still gonna get some more content soon. They keep delaying it for different days. And then probably next week or in 2 weeks, we'll get some gameplay and stuff like that. Um, but the point of what I'm making is God of War, is in every if we compare just the 2018, that's 4 years ago, compared to Elden Ring, graphically, I think it's still better right now. I think gameplay wise, it's still better. every aspect. Like where does Elden Ring compete against the old God of War for you to even dare
So
to put it on that category?
so
Is my
I'm
question.
gonna say this, right? So Elden Ring, with the people love a challenge, people love difficulty. So with that game being made by the great developers that created Dark Souls, for them to be able to come out and create something like this that took everyone by storm is amazing, right? So it's the game has some difficulty to it, but I think it has to do as well with the creativity and boss fights, right? And the complexity, but not necessarily complexity, but the like the way you're able to go ahead and upgrade your character, right? The in-depth character customization and creating building a character that fits your play style in so many ways, right? And introducing magic to to the gameplay. So I don't know. I feel like when it comes, maybe not graphically, but I tell you this, graphically, Elden Ring blew me away. And fighting these boss fights and seeing how gigantic some of these monsters were, and while I was playing the game, it puts chills down your back. But at the same time, there's times I'll stand in front of a building and I'll look at it and I will be so amazed. It'll take my breath away. And I'm playing this. I'm observing this in a game. It's almost like that feeling when you're in a roller coaster and you're about to go down, but you're looking right before you go down, and you get that feeling in your stomach. That's the same feeling I was getting while I was watching some of these environments, right? So like some of these nice, beautiful buildings and architecture and structures that were built in the game, and then not only that, but facing off some of these dragons and some of these amazing bosses, right? Being able to look at them like, wow, this guy is gigantic. Oh my god! And then you're like, oh man, and just like, and it's just like, oh, it gives you that crazy. And I've had moments where I'm just like excited and just kind of roaming through the game, and there's moments that I would just get caught off guard by a crazy bear trying to attack me, or like while I'm going through the woods, something crazy would just pop out the woodworks. Like I think there was a time me and Mag were playing, and there was skeletons that popped out of the ground, and I didn't see him because it was foggy. And all of a sudden, I just get grabbed by this skeleton, and I'm over here screaming, "Oh my god!" Like I'm running for my life, right? And so it brings all those emotions and excitements to the game, and I think that's a lot of that is what I'm talking about is what made it great. Those crazy moments, and is
I
what
can't
made.
deny about those crazy moments. That I'll give you that. But this is my
But
rebuttal to what you're just saying here. First and foremost, yes, I could agree with that part. And again, God of War is not an open world game, so you don't experience that. But the idea about like these bosses and these big bosses, God of War was the first game, but outside of the Colossus, if anybody remembers that, um, where you're walking on a boss. The boss is a whole damn
map area,
basically
yeah,
freaking he's a whole country. You're sitting on a boss
it's unreal.
for
It's
seven
unreal.
hours. You're going through a boss. You're going fighting other people and big giant orgs and all this craziness on top of a boss until you get to him and you pop his eye out. And you telling me that Elden Ring has more creative bosses and more. No, that's wrong and disrespectful to the 15 years or whatever it's been for God of War that's been out. I can't remember when they were first released, but that is crazy to me, blasphemy, that even is a part of your argument for Elden Ring when God of War has done it to the scale where you're literally on top of some giant thing fighting other creatures that are bigger than you, giant orbs and different monsters, you know?
Yeah.
So I disagree with that. I agree with be roaming an open world and being able to get surprised. That's fun from Elden Ring. It's one of the special moments I felt that I loved about the game. And the building a player, yes. God of War, for example, 2018, you can actually upgrade your armor and do a lot with it. And also your buddy, which is your son, you can also upgrade him and build him up as well. Now, uh, Elden Ring allows you to create a player by itself, its own kind of player, and that's where it fails in this sense. Is the story is not impactful at all. You couldn't even tell me the story right now, Cloudy. You couldn't tell me the story right now. I will pay you. Let's sit right here. Go ahead. I'll give you your time right now and tell me the Elden Ring story, even a little bit. Go ahead.
Because it's very free in the way it was created. So no, I don't know the story.
Okay.
Like
Thank you. That's enough. Your
like
Honor,
I haven't played it in some
I just
time,
asked him for a yes or no answer. He said no.
I
Your Honor, let me finish my statement, Your Honor.
yeah, but I would say it's almost like the division. The division was very hard to sit here and put a story to it because it was so free in the way it was designed. So it's
Yeah, but
like
that's a different type of game, and that's what I was
we're
saying. My
talking
point was,
about, you were talking about an open world game and trying to basically match it up against a linear type of game style game that has
with
a
a
story
tenured
that is
character.
driven by the story. That is driven by the story. This Elden Ring wasn't driven by the story. It was driven by gameplay. It was driven by the open world. It was driven by everything that it was able to offer and creativity when it came to
Total
creating your
different game.
character.
And that's my point.
Yeah, so it's a completely different game, but that's my point, is that I'm not talking about story. I'm talking about overall, and what
Overall,
it was able to do at that time. The
yeah,
impact it had at that time. And I
but I
don't
don't
see
care
God
about
of
a
War doing that.
moment. What we talking about is next year, right, or in 10 years, and you're like, damn, what was the best game I played in 2015? Can you remember what is the best game you played in 2015, Claudia?
2015, sheesh, dude, I don't remember. I think it was a Division, but
I don't know if
I
it came out that
forget.
year.
I forget if it came out that year. It was around that time. I forget what came out around
Okay, well, let's
2015.
just say that was for you. For me, Metal Gear Solid V: The Phantom Pain, the greatest game I ever played. I won't ever forget it because of that feeling. So when 10 years pass, which it hasn't been 10 years since 2015, but 10 years pass, will God of War or Elden Ring be the game that you're like, yo, this was game of the year?
Yeah,
Which one will stay there is my argument. And the whole thing about difficulty, just to close out my side, I'm rebuttaling your statement. The whole thing about difficulty, like I said, go play Horizon Forbidden West whenever you get a chance. Put it on the hardest difficulty whenever you get a chance, and just play 5 hours. And if you don't feel like, bro, what the,
I will
you
do
don't get
it.
those
I will do it.
Elden
I'm
Ring
gonna be
moments
doing it.
where you don't get the so-called Elden Ring difficulty. Elden Ring felt easy for me. I got, it's an open world, so I got to upgrade and grab items all over the place, roam, and then I came back and fought a bunch of bosses and beat them down. And you
Yeah,
seen how I was overpowered. The game
yeah.
was badly designed. It allowed me to do that. It allowed me to just be savage. Now I didn't have to do that, but that's also a bad design of developers to not help someone progress a certain way. So there's things, for example, like I have to beat a certain part of the story to get a armor or get a weapon. All of a sudden, I got a new ability because I beat this part of the story. That's good game design, in my opinion, way better than um, everything else. So it's just my opinion. We're watching a little bit of Returnal. That was me and Cloudy, right?
Yeah,
Playing
yeah,
Tia's best game, and
yeah. I
that game
want
is
to.
brutal. That game is way more difficult than Elden Ring, so it's like a
Yeah,
joke
yeah.
because
It
I
is
feel like
difficult, but that game, it is difficult. I can't. I had a hard time trying to get through that game, dude. I don't even think I still to this day haven't gone through the whole full game, but
it's a lot.
yeah, it's tough. It's not easy to get through because the thing is, you start all the way back from the beginning with nothing if you die. And the only way you're able to start off with stuff is if you find the checkpoint and if you have the resources to even activate that checkpoint. It's crazy,
Yep,
man. It's a crazy game. We're talking difficulty, but
for sure.
but
Hey,
I
really?
wanted to show a quick well, you guys can find it over at my my TikTok over at CloudyChiptv. I was going to go ahead and show it off, but there was a moment in
Show it off.
time where me and Mag sat there and faced off against the Renata
Oh yeah.
boss. I couldn't stop laughing because I remember we was just in the chat talking with one of our viewers, and he's talking about how crazy and how
Difficult.
crazy difficult the game is. And then all of a sudden we destroy that.
15 seconds around
One
or
thing was
less.
like, it was like 50 seconds or less. We destroyed that boss, dude. We went through both
Yeah.
phases so fast that I paused for a second. It was so unreal to me, and I just couldn't stop laughing because of what the guy just said. But anyway, that was a moment in my thought in my brain that just crossed.
Yeah, show the
But
clip, man. Show the clip.
if you guys get a chance, go check me out at TikTok. You guys will see it there.
Yeah, for everybody listening, we are putting up clips as we speak, showcasing some footage, and Cloudy has the gameplay of that. Back when Elden Ring first came out, me and him were doing co-op. Another example of why I argue against Elden Ring is because of the very terribly poor design for co-op. You get these games that know how to design. Quality of life is called. There's
Yeah,
actually developers who are sitting there. Their only job is quality of life features, right? So you have the uh, accessibility for people who are disabled. Somebody might be blind that can play the game, or somebody with one hand, or somebody who's deaf, and they have all these great features. And Elden Ring just sucks at that. It's like they never hired anybody for that. But that's a different conversation. But me and Claudia had a lot of fun with that game, and we made a bunch of clips. We have some videos, also full videos of highlights of us going through the struggles of the first couple hours and things like that. You can find it at CloudyChiptv specifically. So,
yeah. So
yeah,
perfect. Well, Mag wanted me to show it off to you guys. I guess I'll go ahead and show you guys the clip that I was talking about that just had me dying. So let me go ahead and show you guys. Let me share this with you.
if they can't hear this, right? So we're gonna talk over it.
They can.
They could hear it.
Yeah. I couldn't. This is too crazy. Yeah, I couldn't stop laughing with that. That was hilarious.
That was
Anyways,
the first feature to the game released, and that's an example of why Elden Ring is the game of the year. But thanks, I appreciate it. Thank you. Argument over.
All right, so next topic in the on the horizon. It's going to be NBA 2K23 Championship Edition costs $150. Comes with the League Pass. Is it worth it? So I think this is a really good conversation because I think this is the first time we ever seen a video game come out with something that's real life, right? So it's something that has a League Pass or NFL Red Zone or MLB TV or any of those really big, heavy hitting products, right? Bundled in together with a video game, and this is the first time I think we see a collaboration of this sort. And I feel like it's my take. If I was to give my quick take on this, I feel like it's worth $150, man, because all in all, you got never mind that a lot of times you come up with NBA 2K23, it comes with already $150 gets you a bunch of VC, so you can kind of get your foot in the door when it comes to your creative character and to be able to, or if you're looking into getting my team kind of off to a fast start, $150 bundle back in the days comes with a bunch of VC and it allowed you to do that. With now it being able to include the League Pass, I love it, right? Because I love watching NBA games and I love that's one of my favorite sports. It's one of the sports I follow. It's one of the sports I'm pretty well versed on, and it's I'm happy to see that they're implementing something like this when it comes to a realistic simulation basketball game, right? So a real simulation basketball game, because it merges the two. It merges fiction with nonfiction and ends up merging both the game and the real life. And most people who play the actual video game are fans of the sport in real life. And I could kind of see other companies like EA when it comes to FIFA, or PlayStation when it comes to the MLB The Show, kind of taking notice and seeing how well this does. And if this does really well, this collaboration, I can kind of see this being a thing of the future, right? And like I said, the League Pass alone, if I'm not mistaken, Mag, it's I think it's about $100,
Yeah,
$100
it's
right out of
more.
the
It's
gate.
more. It's more than $100, but it
It depends on the
basically
one. It depends on the one you get. I
it
think
goes
there's
up and down
one.
throughout the year.
Yeah.
So as the year's halfway, they'll cut it off a little bit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get it. You just continue to drop it a little bit, give you discounts and stuff.
Exactly. So that's my take on the nutshell. I think it is worth it. I feel like for $150, you can't go wrong. My only thing is, I would like to see how the game is going to be designed now, right? And I think that's my biggest question going into this, because a lot of times when you get big, well, I'll say a lot of times, but when you get big collaborations like this, my question then becomes how they're gonna make the money they once did last year. Because companies, what they like to do, they're all about numbers. They're all about how units sold and transactions, right? So the microtransactions, we all know 2K is notorious for it, but they've gotten better. I give them that. They've gotten better over the years. But I feel like are they going to design the game in such a way that makes it a little bit more transactional, microtransaction heavy, to supplement, to kind of fund off some of the loss they're probably going to have with this partnership? Who's taking the loss, right? Is 2K taking the loss in this partnership, or is it the NBA League Pass? Are they going to be taking a little bit of a hit, a dip in sales when it comes to the merger, right? So that's my question. That's what I'm concerned about. I would love to see what entails. As of now, for a consumer, for me to sit here and see this, I'm excited, like really excited, because I do watch the games and I do play the game. So being able to merge the two and keep people up to date with what's going on in real life, it makes for good conversation, right? But I would like to see how they handle the offset and the profits lost, right? If there is profits lost. So I think this is kind of like them testing the waters to see how this ends up turning into, if it turns into something great. So tell me, Mag, what's your thoughts on this?
It's a tough conversation. First of all, this game releases in September. Nobody's played it, so we don't have no official opinions on this. This is all theoretical. Is the game even playable? Is it broken? And we're gonna talk about this collector's editions being worth it, and the game can't even be played.
Yeah.
And big outrage in the community. Who knows? But we've seen a little bit of clips. We've seen some footage through the trailers. They have like 4 trailers out. They're basically not real gameplay. They are gameplay footages in there, but basically it's the reveal of the covers, the Michael Jordan cover, the Devin Booker cover, the WNBA cover. They've been able to put that out and show us a little something. For me, it's about the gameplay first. And what I was try to separate the conversation for 3 different people. There's people who just like basketball, that just want to play basketball. You can buy 2K for what, $60 or $70 if you get the next gen version, and you could play, just a regular offline against other teams in the NBA, or you can do head to head against another team, NBA versus NBA, and
Yep.
just casually play that way. And I think you will be satisfied if that's what you're looking for. The thing is, they have 2 big communities outside of that can come together also, and you can combine all 3. And basically, you have the My Career guys who are creating a character. They have to level them up and grind a lot of hours to maximize them, and then play against other players. And have that whole community. It's huge. It's a big part of the brand of NBA 2K, where they're this is one thing I really love about it, is that you got NBA superstars, NFL players. They have their logos on their head, so if you see them on the court, you're like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's an NBA player. Who's that?" And you walk up to them in game, and oh, snaps, that's Devin Booker. He's actually playing the game right now. So they have these little cool cultural things for those players that are very impactful. Of course, YouTubers can get a logo on their head. There was a point I was in the atmosphere, man. I didn't even try to be, but shout out to one of the devs. He's not working there no more. He once he left, he told me about that, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even know I was even in the conversation because I'm very critical about 2K every year because I love basketball. I unfortunately will end up buying this, and we'll talk about it later because I'm a basketball head, the one sports that I always loved my whole life. So we'll get into that part. But then comes the my team players who are also heavy duty players who play a lot. Every single couple months, they'll come out with new cards for you to pick up, and you're buying all these cards, and then you're spending all your money doing that as well. The reason I'm bringing these two worlds together is because the casual player pays $70. You're fine. That's it. Just play the game.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to play my career. I mean, you're not going to play my career. You're not going to play my team too much. You're not going to blow money on it. But if you are one of those people who are in that world, the collector's edition is a must because you're going to get thousands of VC in-game currency. 2K makes billions of dollars off of this, and this is important for any player who buys this game. If you're going to get the actual Champions Edition, which is the one we're talking about with the League Pass, which is worth it on itself, in my opinion, but you're going to get 5,000 VC. Wait a minute, that's a little bit low. Got to be higher than that. It's higher than that. I thought it was 100,000. I might be reading this wrong. I'm looking at the website right now. 5,000 for my team points. You're gonna get a bunch of my team packs, some boosts for your skills, some Gatorade boosts, Devin Booker jersey, all in game stuff, by the way. A 99 rated Devin Booker my team free agent card. You're gonna get the 12 months league pass, which is what I care about.
Yeah.
And then the 100K VC so that you can level up your character or just buy items, whatever you want to do with that currency, and a whole bunch of other stuff in here that I'm not going to go through all of it, the list. The question and the reason I brought all this up is because if I play my career or I play my team, I need this package because I want the 100K VC. Plus, I get the NBA League Pass to be able to watch games. Like the most thing I want to do with that League Pass is just be on my phone in the beach watching a game, be out at a party and just throw it on. I've done this before. Put this game on while I'm hanging out with guys. We're having some drinks and sitting at a thing playing cards, but I got the game on a little bit. And things like that are really, really special. I play video games. I'll play a 2K game while I'm watching an actual game, listening to it, and I'll turn and watch the game for a second, go back to the video game, go back to the real life game. And it's fun for me. And I think it's definitely worth it in that regard. Now, again, I have not played the game, and we haven't seen gameplay or new features, any of that stuff. You have to know that I'm going to buy 2K regardless.
Yeah.
In the sense of because right now that's the only game that's out. If NBA Live comes back or something, sure, I'll go grab that, and it'll probably win me over because it's one of my favorite series, and hopefully they'll do it right. But for now, 2K offers the best basketball experience that's out there at the moment.
Yeah.
And I gotta enjoy it. So that's my opinion. I don't know. Cloudy, what do you think? Are you just to kind of close this off on the agree to disagree? Are you? Oh, because I feel like you've changed a lot. So you, like me, used to just play the basketball NBA players, and we got into my career for a while. I feel like you've not played with me my career in a long time. This is a personal conversation now we haven't. You left me alone. And then you did a little bit of my team also. And you were into that. So where's your head at on value for you outside of the League Pass? Just like, what do you think so far?
So my biggest thing with the game, right? Because the thing is, right, I work a full-time job. I have a family. Now I'm starting this YouTube thing. And
you have a family? Your wife is pregnant?
No. So like, so I got a lot going on, right? And it takes hours and hours of grinding to kind of get through those games. And the thing is, there's so much other stuff out there, right? You got, the Call of Duty that's out. You got You got all the, now you got the God of War coming. I got Horizon I want to get into. There's so many other games. And if I focus just on the NBA game, it which I did at one point, what ends up happening is that I end up falling behind on all these great experiences, and I end up not experiencing gaming to its full potential, right? Because I'm only stuck on that one title. So as time ended up progressing, there's moments where I'll get into, I'll sit there and I'll play it. I'll play the my career, and I'll be into it for some time. I'll get my character all the way to 90 some 98, whatever it is. And I'll go and I enjoy that, right? All the way up till I grind it all the way out. And then I'll play a couple matches online and stuff like that, and kind of do my thing. And then I'm just like, oh, and I kind of slowly fall back. And I've done that almost for the last 2 years. That's how I've been getting into it. And the thing is, I have my modes, right? My moments. My moments are, there's moments where I'll sit there and I'll say, I want to play in my career. And then there's moments where I sit back and I say, I really enjoy, because I love my team. I love what they've done with it. I love playing it. There was moments where I'll be with my brother and we'll grind out for a week or two. We were grinding out a week or two just on my team. We spent a lot of money too, by the way. 2K, if you're listening, I spent probably $150 more than that. But I had a good time with it. And I was laughing because even my brother that's not even that crazy into gaming, even he was like, oh, I got $50. Let's go and get this. Let's go get some more VC. Let's go get this new packs. Let's open up some more packs. So and I had him, and I remember and this is putting a little bit of light on microtransactions, because like me and my brother was so excited when I ended up getting some free money at my job. And then I won some awards and stuff, like, oh, here's some gift cards or whatever. And I went and boom, I ended up being able to buy more microtransactions, more packs. So I remember my brother coming in doing the same. So it's like, I have my moments where I'll spend a lot of time on my team, and then I'll spend a lot of time on my career. The thing that where it falls apart is, for me, is that it ends up being too time consuming. And then on top of it being too time consuming, when the new title comes out, the old title becomes irrelevant, right? You want to go and play the new one. And then what ends up happening is that you have some people that stay left behind on the old title. Not everybody converts to the new title. And then all the money and time that I spent on my old title, I have to start fresh on the new one, which is fine for someone who that's the only game they play and that's the only game they grind out. But for someone like me, I would prefer for them to have seasons, like an Apex or something like that, or even give me like 2 or 3 support it for 2 or 3 seasons, where I can move my stuff over from one season to another for 2 or 3 seasons at least, and then be able to then be able to say, you know what, I have to start fresh on this 4th season or something, right? Let's say I would be okay with that, because it gives me time to really enjoy both aspects, both the mind team and both the creator base, the creator character base, and enjoy that to its fullest capability. But it's so hard within 9 months. I can't even say 12 months, because it starts to die down after 9 months, after 6 to 9 months. What ends up happening is I say, you know what? If they did that, I think the game will be more enjoyable, because I can go into the next season saying, you know what, I get to keep grinding away at this, because it takes so long to grind. Because if it wasn't that long of a grind, it's different. It's a long grind. And money being spent, and I lose all that. So I lost all that. And now when I get into the new one, I'm like, do I want to do that again? Right? And it's what goes through my head. Do I want to sit there and spend all this time and money that I spent the year before doing this, like I did the year before that? And then it becomes into, I'm at the point now where I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll play the game. I'll grind out a little bit. I'll have some fun with it. But the amount of attention that I've given to K when it comes to building my team year after year, I'm not doing that, because one is, there's so much other experiences out there as far as gaming to experience. And on top of it too, I want to go ahead and I gotta give my time to other things. And I'm not gonna sit here and give all my money to a game that I'm only gonna let die. I'm gonna put it down for 6 months, and then when I go back to it, the new one's already coming out. The community is kind of dead, and all of a sudden I gotta spend money again to redo my whole team and everything. It's not a good financial decision for me, and I'd rather not, right? And as me, hopefully, I know, and I don't believe I'm the only one that feels that way. right? I believe there's a lot of people in the community that I would think that feel the same, right? That are they love NBA games, they love getting into it, but they realize year after year all the money and time that has to be spent on this, it becomes a chore as opposed to being fun. And all of a sudden, you miss out on a bunch of other opportunities in gaming that's out there. So, and I have, and it's different for someone who doesn't have a job and doesn't have a family to send, and all they do is sit and grind all day. I don't have that luxury, right? I have my job. I have my wife and my family that I have to spend time with. I have to give time to. I got my business outside of that with the YouTube and the TikTok and everything that I'm starting to bring to you guys. This podcast that takes a lot of time. I got other games I have to get through, right? To be able to bring you guys more content. And not just be watered down with the microtransactions of 2K. So I just can't, Now, if I had a channel that was revolved just strictly off 2K and I made it my job, then it's different. But I don't feel like it's, I don't feel like I hold it up to that standard to the point that I will make a whole channel on just my 2K. At one point I thought about it because I did spend a lot of time on it. But if I do that, I would be doing a disservice to myself as a gamer, because I'm missing out on so many experiences.
Let's stop this conversation right there. Before we move on to the next subject. This is an important conversation for people to know. So me and Cloudy tend to have similar thoughts on some things, and one of those things I've noticed, I've been breaking free from some of the ways we've thought before, but like that mentality of like always playing everything and anything and all that. I actually really had amazing times dedicating my energy to one game. So the times where I'm world champion for NBA Live, NBA Live, Metal Gear Online, a couple of other games that I've been able to win tournaments in and then compete in the community hardcore and like really dedicate some energy to. It's been some of the most special moments in my life. And it's the only reason I'm actually doing what I do right now, in the sense of the communities are the ones who encouraged me to open up a YouTube or Twitch, and NBA Live guys that when I won the tournaments before that, like, bro, I want you to play NBA Live again, blah blah blah. And I was like, I still play it, I just don't stream it. And then they ended up, come on, stream it, and then I started streaming it again. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's nothing wrong with that, and I think it's a great thing when people are dedicated to a game, because you get so deep into the community, you get so deep into the culture, you build family, like literal. I got family that are people that I consider family, basically closer to me than my own blood family, because of certain games that I've dedicated a lot of energy and time to. So, I would encourage you, Cloudy, to try to find that game. Maybe it's a God of War single player game, right? Where you dedicate so much time to playing through the series over again. You dedicate time like going on social media, checking out cosplay people, listening to myself and my dumbass theories about Loki and what's going to happen with Kratos' son next, and all this crazy theories that I don't want to spoil too much of that storyline, but all the theory people like myself who like to dive into that stuff. There's so many different people in the community of God of War, and it's just a single player game. And there's a lot of beautifulness to get involved in. So that's just a message I want to share to people. For every other person out there, that you're probably dedicated to a beautiful culture.
Communities are great.
And that's how you build your family, gaming family, to a certain extent.
It's true. Communities are huge, and the fact that we have access to all these communities with social media, with Reddit, with Discord, things like that. Like, so many communities are being built and dedicated to like one particular game. And the thing is, like I said, I spend a lot of time and hours. And there was even a time I wanted to be a part of. I think EA has this. They have this community Game Changers. I wanted to be a part of that because I was so into EA and what they were doing with gaming. I was really big on NBA Live. I started getting into the Madden series for some time, And then like little by little, I started kind of diving more and more into like a lot of the sport games because I love sports, and it took a lot of time. It took a lot of time out of my day to kind of get through that. But it made it very hard because in doing that, I missed out on a lot of great things. And then now I'm starting to get back into like really getting like into gaming and really experiencing a lot of these really great titles firsthand. And I'm having such an amazing time with it that and I think the same thing goes for fighting games, right? And not to throw the topic off, but I held fighting games so great regard. I spent a lot of time playing fighting games, and to the point that it took away from everything else. So it's like, with one thing comes sacrifice, right? So you spend too much time on one thing, you only have so much time in a day. So it's like you have to balance, and balance is the hardest thing. So I'll leave it at that. Finding balance in a lot of these great games is very difficult, especially if you're into more than just one game. Being a part of the community is always amazing, right? Because you build family, you build trusted partners, you build lifelong relationships with people who you've met, maybe not in person, but you've gotten a chance to speak to and enjoy gaming time with, or even topics of conversation with, and having that family to basically go to and have that conversation is always amazing. It's always great, right? To continue to build your relationships. So that's my take on it. Like I said, I hope you guys are still around. If you guys are still around and listening to what we got going on here, it's really great topics, and let me know what y'all guys think. Do you guys feel how I feel? Are you guys agreeing with me in the way that I go about my thought process behind some of these games? And let me know. Let me know how you guys feel about that down in the comments below, or put it in the chat live, and we'll go ahead and we'll discuss it a little bit more. All right. So last question of the day, just to get into it. And I think this is a big one, and we'll try to give our thoughts on it at the moment. So one of the biggest ones is Apex Legends. Is it the greatest battle royale of all time? And
you could go first.
This is he wants me to go first. This is a really big topic, and me and Mag were kind of little bit started getting into our thoughts on it. And I remember Mag yesterday, he was streaming and he was talking about how Apex is the biggest battle royale game of all times. And I have to disagree. And I disagree strongly. And the reason why I disagree strongly, and not to take anything away from Apex, I love what they do. I love the community they were able to build over time. I remember when that game first came out with, I think, a roster of like 4 characters, or I forget, it's very little. And they've been able to turn it into this amazing series that we all know and love. And it all started from somewhere, right? Same thing, and my thing is that we got to think about how this all started, right? A lot of it started with, I think the biggest battle royale game that started and kind of made this mainstream was Fortnite. Fortnite became the biggest, and if not, probably still, it died down a little bit, but it's still probably one of the biggest battle royale games that's still out to this day. And one of the games that were able to take that battle royale formula, and I remember them bringing it to mobile, and people being able to play it on mobile, offering crossplay, offering all these amazing things that slowly a lot of these companies are starting to do. Right, so they innovated a lot of that, what we now love as far as when it comes to battle royale, right? And so when Mag talks about Apex, all I think about is Fortnite. All I think about right now is what was just announced, Fall Guys being having a player base of 50 million players right now as it stands, and as a battle royale game as well, holding that title right now. Puts them in a different category that Apex, I feel, has not hit yet. So it's like, as much as I love the series, as much as I love Apex and what they stand for and what they've been able to build, I don't feel like that game it's being held to that regard, right? And not for nothing, but like you got Warzone, right? Warzone, to put it into perspective, already before Battle Royale was even a thing, had a really great game in general, right? They had really great game modes. That series as a whole always held a really strong player base. When Warzone got introduced, which is their version of Battle Royale, it sucked in so many players to the point that now Call of Duty, their kills to confirm, their team deathmatch, all these modes that came with the standard game has slowly being sucked dry by what is now Warzone. And it's starting to, and some of the players from Fortnite, big players, we're talking like Tim the Tatman and Nick and all these guys, right? That everybody knows. They started off with Fortnite and they all slowly moved back over to Call of Duty and have been dominating the Call of Duty scene for some time. When it comes to Battle Royale, right? So, I have to say that, even Call of Duty right now, to some degree, it's big in this regards, right? So, I can't, not to say, I can't take anything away for Apex and what they built, but I disagree strongly. With that being said, tell me what you think, Meg.
You done it? You finished?
I am done. Give me your thought. Give me your breakdown.
Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, before I give my breakdown, I just would like to inform you that you have been misinformed by Mr. Rogers over here. And we're going to run down the list of misinformation that he just spread. First of all, Apex started off with 8 legends. 2 of them you had to unlock later. You start off with 6, and then you get 2 more. Secondly, Fortnite was not the first. It was PUBG, which was a broken game. Until this day, is still broken. And that game did not do well. It was the most recognized, supposedly pioneering first-person shooters. Not first-person, but pioneering shooter battle royale games through the scene. Arguably, Bomberman was the first battle royale game ever. It put you in a map and you was shrinking and everybody was fighting off. It was that, and then Metal Gear. But that's a different conversation for another day about who pioneered the battle royale scene. But you have to give it a PUBG as far as popularity, bringing it forward. Then Fortnite came out, and it is one of the biggest games, but it's not because it's the best. It's the biggest game, one of the biggest games, because you can go and there's an event and you can see, and I love this guy, first of all, Travis Scott's concert. He's like a giant guy in the sky, and all the kids are gonna go watch that. Oh, you could play Star Wars toys and have the blades. Oh, we're gonna bring in, all of this gimmicks to keep it relevant, and it's not the best game. And we'll get back into that in a second because that's important. Then you go into Fall Guys. You said 50 million is a big deal. But the storyline that we talked about is that it just dropped free to play, and it picked up 50 million players, which is a big number, bigger than a lot of other games did in the past. Now Apex is almost at 200 million plus players base today. Last week they put out a report on that. It was almost 2 million right there, to be exact, for Apex. So Fall Guys doesn't even come close. Now Fall Guys is fun. I'm not dissing none of these games. They're fun in their own right, but it can't compete when it comes to Battle Royale. Secondly, Warzone has been a broken game. They have the pay to win weapons that they have set up for that. And so-called big content creators that were there on Fortnite and on Warzone left. For example, one of the biggest creators out in our world today, Nick Merck, who happens to, and you can go check out clips where he'll say it himself, Apex is the best. There's nothing better than Apex. Going from Warzone to Apex, he felt like, he went from being homeless to actually playing a premium, luxury suite type of game. That's his words, not mine. So you're talking about all that information was wrong. And that's before I make my statement on Apex and why it's great. First and foremost, I am biased because I love the game so much. And who's going to say something positive about something they don't love as much? So anybody that's going to come at me about oh, you just be sweating them. Yes, I sweat every game I love. Okay, God of War, I'm gonna be sweating that. You know, NBA 2K, even though I don't, if you guys all know me, I'm an NBA Live guy. I respect and appreciate that they're giving me a game every year. I'm humble to it. I said I'm gonna buy this thing, even though I criticize the microtransactions, I criticize some of the gameplay decisions, I criticize a lot of things. It offers me something, so I'm happy with that part of it. Same thing with other products, and it's like you have a Cloudy, for example, you have a wife. When you have an argument, something goes wrong, or she does something wrong to you, or in the house or something, it's a part of the deal. You got to deal with it, but you're going to talk positive about your wife. You love her and you want her to do good. So that's what we're doing with Apex. Apex is my wife, just happens to be my wife. I love this girl because when I met her, when I first met Apex Legends, she was well put together. She wasn't a broken product like Warzone. She wasn't a gimmicky product like Fortnite. She's not like a little uh, Fall Guys funny silliness type thing. It was a shooter with premium gameplay, high value, top tier gameplay experience that you can get in any shooter right now. You can't name a better first person shooter in existence right now as far as like current games. If you go back in the history and you say Call of Duty, this and that back in the day, sure. But we're talking about today and at the moment until the end of the year when some more first person shooters come out and some more battle royales come out, we can't decide, we can't lie to ourselves and say this one's better or that one's better. Like I said, I can't give Fortnite the benefit of the doubt because they keep their fan base because of gimmicks. Oh, we have an event, Star Wars, come play, and then next month it's Terminator, and then next month is, and it's fun to do and it's fun, but we're talking, I want to play the game. We're here to play. We're not here to watch a concert of Travis Scott and think that that's what makes the game better because of that one thing. Um, so I can't argue for those other companies in that way. Gameplay wise, superior, full experience. You got rank mode, something that Warzone hopefully does for the next release. I'm hoping Warzone has ranked and it gives us a premium gameplay of like top tier players and it changes into something special like Apex has. I honestly wouldn't mind that. I need more variety. Cloudy Chip was talking about playing other games and having variety. I want that for first person shooters. It's not like I'm here trying to argue for Apex to be the only good game. Hell no. I'm the first guy who played Fall Guys a year and a half before release. You can go on my Twitter and look up the word Fall Guys and then Mad Gamer INC, and you'll see me tweeting about this game's going to be a lot of fun when it comes out. I can't wait to play it. I kept on tweeting about it. And you can go on Twitter as well and look up Mad Gamer INC Fortnite and see. I was playing the story mode a year before the Battle Royale came out, and I said, this game's a lot of fun. I can't wait to play it. I don't know if I had you play it, Claudia, but I had my son, I had a couple other people play it, and then the Battle Royale came out free to play for everybody, and it blew up to be what it is. And these games are not the worst. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is the argument is about one simple question, and the best and greatest battle royale of all time is Apex Legends for these reasons. And I'll just finish off with this. I'm very long winded right now. For these reasons, gameplay wise, there's not an FPS that's more superior at the moment. The Legends have special abilities that change the dynamic and experience for your play. That really creates a special experience for that, especially if you're very skilled with the Legend you're using. It changes everything dramatically. It is a very team oriented game. The more your team focused, the better you are going to succeed in the game. It has an amazing rank system where you could actually level up and feel like you're getting better because you could play against better players. Remember when I first played, I couldn't get out of gold. Now I'm hitting diamond in a very short window. There have been things like that I didn't expect myself to do. I end up doing because of the progression of, okay, I'm stuck here. Let me get better against these guys in the rank mode. Something special there. And then they're always consistent with every about 3 months, they'll have the season change. They're always putting in new modes. They're always putting in new legends, a lot of new weapons. And it's just continuing to progress the game in a positive way, unlike other games like for example Fall Guys. They have, oh, look at, I'm gonna be the Star Wars character, and I love Star Wars, but that's not why you play a game. So you put on a skin of a different character. You don't play God of War and say, let me be Luke Skywalker with the lightsaber. That's not what you play God of War for. You play it because of the gameplay, because of the great story. And Apex does that. It doesn't have to pull out a stunt and put on a costume to make you like the game because you're so into the Ninja Turtles. And that's what Fall Guys and Fortnite does. Great. They do a good job with that, but they can't compete on those other levels compared to Apex Legends. That's my opinion, and it's a lot of some of the stuff I was saying was factual, and I mixed up my opinion in there. And I usually like to separate that now because I feel like sometimes I talk and people think I'm just thinking everything I say is right. I don't believe everything I say is right. If you're into a chilled out, family friendly Fall Guys game, you have a good time and enjoy it. I like it. I still play it every once in a while just to goof off for a moment, just to see if I can win. It's very difficult. And then Fortnite, if you're into the big building stuff or the big events where, like I said, I went into the game. I went into the game and watched Travis Scott as a giant hologram in the game and just watched him. So these are the type. Even Call of Duty tried to do a gimmick. They brought in God of War. They brought in Godzilla. I don't know if you played that, Cloudy, but when they brought in Godzilla and King Kong, it was such a bad mode. You're spending a half hour shooting Godzilla to take him out and stuff like that, and it just terrible, terrible try to be a gimmicky game. Call of Duty needs to be just like Apex Legends and bring you top tier gameplay, bring you a ranked mode, bring you some real content to make it sustainable because it is gameplay wise, as far as gunplay, it's a nice game. Call of Duty's always had that. And the day that they can reach the level of Apex, which maybe this year they're going to drop one, and with part 2, Warzone part 2, if it comes out and it has those type of features and it works on the actual quality of the game, it can compete as one of the best. I don't think Fall Guys and Fortnite can be in the same category because of the gimmicky aspects. They don't focus on the actual player experience in that regard. They use the gimmicks to excite people. So that's my argument. Long-winded, but I got it off my chest.
Yeah, I disagree, man. And then to hear this guy sit here and say, Fortnite was big because all of a sudden they bring in just Travis Scott. It's crazy. Fortnite has been big for years before they even introduced Travis Scott to the game. So it's like my biggest, like I said, my thing is that, you like what you like. No one's saying, hey, Apex is not a great game. It doesn't have great gameplay. Gunplay is, it's not well made. It's very well made. It's a very great game to get into. You get into what you feel you like, right? Like Fall Guys, if that's your cup of tea. If not, you got Call of Duty is more realistic in a lot of ways. And if not, you can get into some, something that has really great movement, which is, and is a little bit more chaotic. You can get into some Apex. Or Fortnite. Fortnite has the building aspect of it. So each one has they pros and they cons, right? And kind of what they do. But yes, PUBG, I remember when they did come out with PUBG. Yeah, you're right. So PUBG did come out, but it still didn't, it wasn't Fortnite. It wasn't what solidified Battle Royale. It was a good attempt. They did a very good job. It built somewhat of a hype, but then not too long after came Fortnite, and that was the end of PUBG. That's what killed off PUBG, to be honest.
But PUBG was dead already, though, bro.
So my thing is that
from the start, it never got fixed.
Yeah. So my thing is that when we talk about battle royales, first thing that comes into my mind, and it's Fortnite. It's not Apex. And when I sit here and think about the biggest battle royale, has to be Fortnite. And mind you, and I'm not the guy who sits here and says, "Oh, I'll play Fortnite all the time," because I played the okay amount of it. I wasn't too crazy about it. As far as battle royales, I do love Apex. I do love Call of Duty, but but I have to give praise where praise is necessary, right? And Fortnite has held that crown of the greatest battle royale, biggest battle royale game of all times for some time. Maybe not. Maybe as of now, things have shifted a little bit, and that's okay. But my thing is too, to top it all off, is as far as Warzone has some things they have to fix. For a first attempt, they did okay. They did very well. But there's still a lot of things they have to fix. And one of the biggest things, and that was the biggest turnoff for big players of the community when it came to Warzone, was people hacking, right? People using things to hacks, like being able to see through walls and being able to just continuously shoot and not miss from long range and distance, right? And people, even big streamers and big people who made a name for themselves being caught using these hacks is and Call of Duty not really putting a stop to that. And I know it's hard when it comes to developing a title and being able to stop some of that from happening. But Apex had, and that's where Apex differs in when it comes to Warzone, is that they actually do a great job in minimizing that, not allowing stuff like that to really take effect and happen. And they also have their ranked mode, which Call of Duty, I believe, at this time does not. So like I said, there are talks and conversations of Warzone 2, a new Warzone coming out. There've been some talks about it. There's been some rumors being put out. I don't believe there has been an actual trailer or something being announced as of yet, but there is talks and it's already circulating the globe about something coming out soon, very soon. So keep your eyes open and your ears listening to everything that's out in the wild right now, because you will see that. And when you do, I guarantee a lot of big companies, especially as big as Activision and Call of Duty they will listen to the community. They will be doing some adjustments, and I could see that game really doing some great things when they do relaunch it. But to end this on a high note, I'm right. I'm right. No, but
I'll let you sit on that imagination. That imaginary statement is just as real as the whole statement about Fortnite being the greatest.
But let me know. Let me know, guys. Do you guys agree with me that Fortnite is the biggest battle royale? Apex is not, even though they've done a really good job in solidifying themselves in that space. Or do you agree with Mag? Do you agree that Apex is the biggest?
The greatest.
Greatest
battle royale game.
Greatest battle royale game as of today. Yeah. So, but it's not as of today. It's of all time, right? This is what we're stating right now. So, let me know what your thoughts are.
Battle royale games out there to be like, which is the best, the greatest. So that is the statement. My last statement here about it is simple. First and foremost, you barely talked about Fortnite and gave any actual substantial evidence. This is a trial, right? We're on a battle mode of agree to disagree. Where's your statement? What is your evidence here? And what is the thing? Other than Fortnite's big, it's been doing its thing, and then you talk about other games, and you would not actually give a statement for it. So even if maybe someone else will agree, maybe they will actually have actual evidence and an actual conversation about these are the reasons I believe that this product is the best at the current state. And I feel like you haven't done that, and it's a bad representation to something that you're claiming is supposed to be the biggest or better. If it's the greatest, then it should easily have a long list of different things, in my opinion. And that's not something that you've done. So I don't know, man. You're gonna have to look into yourself.
Listen, all you gotta do is look at the biggest game being streamed right now, or even back then. Biggest game, if you went on Twitch and saw what was being streamed everywhere and what was the biggest game, and probably still is the biggest game, you will probably see Fortnite being top game being streamed.
All right, I'm on Twitch right now. You guys can't see it. But number one is Minecraft. Number two is Just Chatting. Number three is Counter Strike. Number four is Apex Legends. Number five is what is number five? Take a guess, Cloudy.
Warzone.
No, League of Legends. What's number six, Cloudy?
Not sure. I'm not looking at it, but
I know that's why I'm asking.
so my thing is that yes,
Grand Theft Auto is number six, but we could just keep going down the list. In the end of the day, greatest game isn't because like one of the greatest series.
but the
you
thing
just
is,
said
but
was
the
God
but
of
the thing
War.
is we're talking
You
of
said,
all
wait,
time.
hold on. You said God of War is the greatest series. So now we're gonna try to follow your argument here. Earlier today, in this very episode, you said God of War is one of the greatest series of all time. It surpasses Metal Gear, all this craziness. And okay, I can respect your opinion. That's everybody's opinion. But if I go down the list on the top, probably 100, I'm not going to see God of War on the top 100 games being played today. Does that take away from how great it is? You
No,
get me? So
it
your
doesn't.
argument is two different storylines here of,
It's
no. But wait, let me finish. So what I'm saying is that you're going to make a statement to try to clarify, but it doesn't make sense if you're going to try to say the greatest. Look at the. I'm going to tell you, Fortnite's on the top of Twitch because it's the greatest, and then all of a sudden, God of War is not even in the top 100 on this list, and it's
yeah.
still not the greatest. And I just found God of War. It's definitely low. It's like very low. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sheesh. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
So it's a single player game, so we can't, you can't even pull that.
Almost 100 at
Can't even
90
hold.
something overall. Only 3,000 viewers are watching God of War right now.
Yep. So, like I said, you can't compare that. That's a single player game. But my whole take is
You're
that
comparing the argument of Twitch being the reason because that was your only evidence that Fortnite was that good.
no, I'm not. I'm not saying. I'm saying at one point that's what it was. Everywhere you looked, it was everywhere. And like I said, and yes, Apex is doing some great things, and they're establishing themselves to being one of the greats. But to say it's the greatest, of all time, I like I said, I disagree. So let me go. Let me know what you guys think. You guys agree or do you guys disagree? So kind of to wrap up some of the things we had, some of the topics we had today. One of them is going to be God of War Ragnarok. Is it game of the year? I disagreed and I gave my takes on it. One of the biggest reasons is Elden Ring. I feel will be the biggest. Mag agrees that it will probably be the game of the year.
Because the one that came before it was
Yep.
one of the greatest of all time, and there's no way that they'll go lower and their standard will drop somehow. And if it does, then sure, I'm wrong. That's my opinion.
And then the second big topic of the day was NBA 2K Champions Edition costs $150. NBA League Pass is included with that. Is it worth it? Is it worth your $150 purchase? And I believe me and Mag both agree that that was really good value for your dollar. And the reason for it, because League Pass alone, it's well over $100. And you're getting that together with to be able to experience the 2K series and what they bring and what they offer as far as basketball simulation. You can't beat that. And if you're one of those people that sit here and do buy the League Pass year after year, and you have not given having a chance to actually play 2K, then this is a good way to do it. Go get yourself some 2K, get yourself the League Pass, and be able to enjoy both things.
Yeah, and I will add on to that. If you're playing my career or my team, you're going to get all the extra perks. Also, look it up online. We got all the links. As far as I know, I tweet about this stuff every time it comes out. All this news, I basically tweet about. So you can go look up the information. If you're my team, they're giving you a bunch of stuff for that. If you're my career guy, they give you a bunch of stuff for that. So on top of the League Pass and on top of the full game, you're going to get a bunch of digital stuff to check out. So for sure.
Perfect. And then the last topic of the day was going to be, and this is a big one, Apex Legends. Is it the greatest Battle Royale of all time? And me and Mag had some talks and battling it out. But like I said, I feel like it wasn't. The biggest reason is Fortnite. Fortnite was the staple for Battle Royale for some time, and it held that for for a
Not
good
even a
amount.
year
It held that
before
for a,
Apex came
for
out. Yeah.
for a very long time. So I
No,
feel
wait.
like
Before you go into that, my statement, and as a rebuttal, his statement there. Trying to make Fortnite. Fortnite literally came out like a year before Apex came out, but before that, PUBG was the king
yeah,
of Battle Royale. So he's making an argument for Fortnite if it did something special, when really once Apex came out, it showcased, hey, we're the premium experience. You
perfect.
can have your favorite. It's different from a favorite to the greatest. Michael Jordan is the greatest, but some people like Kevin Durant. Some people like whoever you like, and that's fine. You can like them, but you can't argue against Michael Jordan being a greater player. And that's where I think Apex sits in that echelon. But again, your favorites are your favorites, guys. But anyway, go ahead.
That's your opinion, but all I'm saying is that like I said, it's really good combo, and like I said, I disagreed. Mag sat here and agreed, and we both have our takes on it. But feel free to go ahead and give your takes. I'll go ahead. I'm gonna be posting this on YouTube. If you guys want to go ahead and watch that a little bit later, and I will be tweeting about it. If you guys want to be a part of the conversation, you already know. You can come and follow us here. Come watch us live over at Twitch. ./TV. So twitch.tv/CloudyChiptv. You can go ahead and catch it live. If you want to catch me live streaming games as well, that's where you can go ahead and find me. Mag, you can find them streaming live over at twitch.tv/MagGamer Inc. And you can go ahead and catch him there, and go follow him on Twitter over at Mad Gamer Inc. as well, where he's always posting. Me and him, we're always posting things gaming, posting some of the things we got going on as far as outside of our live streams with our YouTube channels and things like that. Go catch us there, right? And come be a part of the conversation, because I love having these topics. I love being able to conversate and go back and forth on big things like this, right? So that's my take on everything. Any last words, Meg?
Yeah, first and foremost, guys, me and him are family, and our debates are just debates on silly topics that are not that relevant as far as like at the end of the world. We're not here worrying about climate change and the political situation, the economy. Oh my God. We're not having those type of real life serious things. I get very passionate. And the Apex one is very easy, but some people just don't have that type of brain. But the common sense brain is basically what I call it for certain topics. I feel very strongly, because it's like, hey, just look at the evidence. We can talk about an opinion all we want. So like, Fall Guys is my favorite, and there's nothing wrong with anybody that says that. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, come over to our other socials and get involved with us and chat with us. You'll see that I am strongly opinionated, but it's also lighthearted in the sense of it's just a video game. I'm not trying to do heart surgery or something. It's debate. Are we doing it right? Are you doing it wrong? No, this is just gaming. So it really doesn't matter anyways, Cloudy likes to play Mario games a lot. I don't anymore. And there's nothing wrong with a Mario. There's nothing wrong with something a little more realistic looking, like a God of War or whatever. There's nothing wrong with all of these. You can play them all, right? So that's what we do for the show. It's kind of agree to disagree. If I don't have a strong opinion, then I don't think the show can be as interesting. If everything is like, you're right, you're right, you're right, and we just kind of don't have any type of back and forth. And I actually do think, Cloudy, just to kind of change the topic and talk about, I feel like you be purposely disagreeing. You want to follow the theme, bro. Is that true?
No,
You
I get
like
my,
purpose.
I
Let
get
me be a
my,
devil's advocate.
I don't feel like everything we it's just things that we do agree with strongly. Like, we both agreed on the NBA being good value, but like I said, I give my opinion on how I feel and
The
why
God of War,
I
bro.
feel that way.
Bro, the
And
God of War statement.
and I love God of War, and that statement was real to me because I've seen the impact that Elden Ring did, and I can kind of see that, still holding up. We'll see. We'll catch it at the end of the year. We'll see what gets announced and what ends up taking that prize home with them.
Bringing this topic back
But
up in November. We're
we
gonna find out.
we will, and we can bring it back and we can talk about it. But as of now, that's where I stand. And like I said, I don't give a damn what people think. I sit here and I give my opinion. This is how I feel. And at the end of the day, if you guys have an opinion on things, you know where to find me. Over on my Twitter at CloudyChiptv. You want to catch me live and talk trash and tell me how you feel? Listen, CloudyChiptv over at twitch.tv. Come find me, check me out, and then we can talk about it live, and we can have that debate, and we can have that conversation, right? But if you guys
into a big ass plug,
but if you guys, like I said, if you guys want to stay up to date with everything gaming, catch us here live every Saturday over at CloudyChiptv at twitch.com. Any last words, man? Talk to me.
Yeah, I want to kind of cool down for a second here on a couple of different things. So we're in July. It's a slow gaming month. Me and you have some special guests coming up. I don't want to say their names yet. I've been talking to one person, and then we're going to try to add more. We're going to do some new segments, right? We got some different things that we could try to figure out for the show. Continue to upgrade the visuals, some sound. We want to try to throw some sound in there and do some special effects. We got to create a sound for Agree to Disagree, bro. I would like a dope Agree to Disagree button. I need a button. I want to press a button. I want a physical button one day that I could just and then it pops up on the screen every time I press it. There's a way to do it where if I hit it, it'll activate an alert on your screen for the stream.
Yeah, we can figure out some fun things to do to make it a little bit more interesting and appealing. But
I want everybody to also give us their thoughts on what they think going forward. Again, this is a new show. It's just starting off. We're still young in the game, sorting through it. I like what we got. I feel like a couple more segments, a couple different ways to present it, and then we can go from there. I think the boxing match, we got to have a little more boxing in there on this Agree to Disagree segment too. Something different.
Yeah,
I like it so far, but I'm excited for the future as far as gaming goes. I think this year's games, already been good, but now we got like a little bit of a pause for this month until next month when it starts capturing back up. Forspoken, we didn't talk about it, but that game got delayed until next year.
Yep.
So that's tough. What are you playing, man? What have you been playing? Did you finish Ratchet and Clank?
I haven't yet. I'm at the very end though. I can feel it in my bones. It's the end. It's the end because they sit here and say, do you wanna go ahead and go into the training mode and practice and level up before? Do you want to do that before going to see Dr. Nefarious? And I'm like, somebody tells you that, you're like, yeah, they want you to get prepared for war because you're about to go into some deep stuff and finish off what you started. So I think that's where I'm at. I think by the next stream, I should be exactly that spot. I think I should be done. But the game's been fun.
You want to get as much as you can. Upgrade those weapons. We're talking about Ratchet and Clank Drift Apart for everybody listening. That game is incredible. I've enjoyed it when I played it. Cloudy's playing through it right now on his stream. He's showcasing it for everybody. His experience. Cloudy, you're playing it on the hardest difficulty?
Yes.
What level you got it?
What do you mean? Renegade Legend.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I think I played it on hard. I didn't play it on Renegade.
Yeah. So that's fun.
The difference. You're trying to do these videos for difficulty, right?
Yes. Get my take on how I feel the game goes from going regular to difficult. So you guys should be expecting that soon. You guys want to check it out. It will be on my YouTube once I complete it. Once I kind of get everything wrapped up, you can expect it over there. And you can hear my thoughts on how I truly feel about, what they've been able to do. Some games do a really good job with implementing hard mode. Some, take a lazy way approach. So that's what, that's kind of doing is wanting to expose that a little bit because I do feel the way it's played changes a bit. And it changes the way, like, you could be, example, you can be very crazy out there with some games, right, that are not that difficult. And when you put on difficult, it's like, oh, all of a sudden, like, you can't just run through it. You have to really be tactical, really be smart about how you approach certain situations, and use everything to your disposal. And some games do a good job of doing that. So I want to, get my take on it, and give you guys some really good fun stuff to watch too. So you will be, we'll be putting out a walkthrough of my journey with that game out on my channel.
Dope.
So.
Da bueno, da bueno. Yes. So everybody, thank you for watching this Mad Gamer INC. I'm not going to plug no more. I think Cloudy plugged the life out of everything for the whole show. Come over and listen to it on Spotify and iTunes if you're watching videos of this. If you're actually listening, come over to the socials and kick it with us so that you can interact. We're gonna probably do some engagement things. It's this Cloudy's show, but I've been trying to help with it. And one of those things is that I love to do is pose and kind of get people's thoughts and feelings and then present it to the show. So maybe in the near future we can implement that at some point so that you guys we can have an interactive segment every week, some votes and things like that. But that's what the deal is. I'm out of here, man. Thank you very much for watching. Last words for you, Cloud?
No last words for me. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys, if you guys watch this whole thing, y'all are some real ones, bro. Because I know these podcasts sometimes are a little winded. They're a little long in essence, right? But hopefully you guys got some enjoyment out of it. Hopefully you guys were able to get some good information regarding some of the stuff gaming, and which is what we try to do, right? So if you guys, we try to make it so that when you guys come and watch this, you guys stay locked in with everything going on in the industry and can also be a part of some good topics, right? So, always feel free to, we don't bite. Feel free to come through, have a conversation, talk to us. And like I said, we're always willing to hear what people have to say. I'm all about perspective. That's the main reason why I started the show. Because I love hearing two sides, right? Because there's always two sides to the story. People always have their way of being and why they are the way they are and why they believe in what they believe in. And I like to be able to get into that, right? And I want to be able to, I like to hear people's sides of certain things. And I wanted to do it with gaming. So, come catch us here live. Stay locked in with everything gaming here with us. So I think that's all I have to say. Well, appreciate you guys for watching. Have yourself an amazing day. Enjoy your weekend and spend time with the family and keep it rolling, man. Like always, love.